force field's not going to help out, and actually needs to pull that sentry back, because even pulls a few probes to deal with that.
It will die. Ah, that's very annoying for MC here. It's going to lose a few probes as well, I believe.
This has done way more damage than it ever needed to. So a few probes and a sentry, which is a nice pickup, and he's going to get full scout.
Yeah, he saw the Nexus, right? Yeah, he saw the Nexus, so he knows exactly. He's trying to get one more. Oh, but
wait, what?
The greed.
The greed is real.
Oh my god.
It's Dark Shrine again from Stardust.
Yeah, behind this.
It's like, oh, I'll just throw it in base this time if you're not gonna. But he saw everything of his opponents, right?
Yeah.
Did he see the Robo?
No, that was started right after the Mothership Core died.
Yeah.
Accidentally died, I would say.
Yeah. So, well, 3 gateways. Robo is a choice for MC here. Should be able to have an observer out in time to deal with this.
And this time,
there's a pylon down to the bottom left though.
I mean, he killed the sentry, right? So, no, he warps in one more, so he will be able to force field off the DTs.
Yeah.
Usually, the fastest DTs come into your base at a minute around 7.
And he's got a good wall off prepared in general with the Stalker's position to greet it, and then a force field as well, buying time for the observer.
And he sees it, I believe. Well, he actually feels it, right? No. Okay, good job there.
Definitely feel swipes from that Dark Templar, that's for sure. So free probe, and
this is a good position for MC. He does have the Nexus, he gets the Observer. This time he won't take any damage from the DTs. It's actually killing the DT as well, so he knows it's not on the map anymore. And Stardust Nexus is pretty late if you compare it. It's still building. He basically has no follow-up to this, not even a Robo. Obviously the probe count is kind of similar right now, but keep in mind the double production with double chrono boost on the economy, if MC goes for that, will give him a huge spike.
Yeah, it's like 2 to 4 probes here are gonna be added on here for MC in comparison. Not only that, but the army value here is doing all right for MC, holding on against really not a whole lot for Stardust, because he's been dedicating so much of his gas to alternate techs, like the Dark Shrine costs quite a bit, that one Dark Templar that didn't do much costs quite a bit, and Blink likewise, well, yeah, costs quite a bit.
Oh yeah, he's actually researching Blink, yeah, you're right. It's basically only on 2 sentries right now and his Mothership Core, while MC already is starting to build Immortals. He does have the first one, he's probably starting the second one very soon, and he learned his lesson, guys. He's getting a second Observer for the main base.
Okay, making sure no Warp Prism shenanigans are going to happen here.
He even has 3 Observers this time.
All right, all the Observers. He wants to see everything. A few Stalkers going to poke across here. +1's already started for MC, but on the other side of things, just a little bit delayed. So
you will maybe lose one of his Observers here, but I think it will be able to escape. Sentries are not fast enough and don't deal the damage needed to kill it. And did MC actually... He's behind in probes, so he halted his probe production for... Wow. This is very, very interesting.
Where's he been throwing his chrono boosts?
Actually, he has quite a lot of chrono boosts in the natural and in the main. It's 3 chrono boosts not being spended so far. Wow, he's so scared. He was so scared that he was building more units, scouting everything with his Observers, and...
Is there the opportunity here for MC to play the Colossus style? Because he's got loads of Immortals out. He's adding on his Twilight Council. He could rocket up towards that. Stardust is going to play Colossus, but is MC on the flip side of things?
MC will find out with his hallucination, right? The hallucination's on the way, so he will see the Robo Bay. The question is, will he react with his own Robo Bay? Cute little move there with the Warp Prism.
Oh, he's not going to fall for it, though. We saw how much damage it was taking, realizing that it was taking a bit more than a normal Warp Prism, and we'll pull right back out. But still continued Immortal production over the idea of getting a Robo... Ah, okay, there's the Robo Bay. A little bit later than usual.
Yeah, he scouted it, he clicked on the Robo Bay, and a few seconds after he started his own.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to play the Colossus less style, so he's opting to go for some of his own. And I mean, he should be a little bit ahead right now, but in fact he's not. He's actually, both are supply blocked at exactly the same time. You don't see that too often.
No. And +2 starts up nice and speedy here for him to try and continue and hold that lead in the upgrade war, which is quite important. It's going to be difficult for either player to really take a proper full engagement right now. How are we doing in Immortal counts? It's very, very similar as well. So
2 against 3 in favor of MC, who is, of course, will be behind in 1 Colossus because his Robo is a little bit later. And Stardust, Funka just showed us, is getting a hidden base here. And I like it. I like it. It's, I mean, it's risky if it gets scouted in PvP. It's very, very annoying because Protoss will just send a few zealots there.
Yeah. But how often are you going to see that, though?
Yeah.
In a completely desolate corner of the map where you're very rarely going to be focusing any attention.
Yeah.
What's that up to the top right? That's
an observer.
Okay, okay.
I don't think it will fly there, though. And seeing a Protoss staying on 2 base for a long time in PvP is nothing too weird, because especially when you see the Colossus and Gateway count rising, you might think he's going for a 2 base or something, that he wants to be aggressive once he sees your Nexus. But Stardust has his Nexus up almost. It will be very annoying for him to transfer probes. Probably he won't do it at all. So he has to build and chrono boost them at the base. But eventually he will get the gas income, which definitely helps him to crank out Archons.
Yeah. He's seen a lot of gateways now with these Phoenix, so this must be piquing his interest for sure. He's actually going for a third base of his own, as that observer for now below this is actually looking what seems like... I thought he was looking over for the... There we go. He's looking for the third base now, having a little bit of a poke around, and doesn't see it at a standard location, but of course it would have been expanding towards MC in this case.
Did Stardust already get his thermal lance? I'm wondering. Oh yes, okay.
Done, 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 done.
Okay. So 2-2, almost the same timing, very, very similar. MC slightly ahead in the Templar archives, because for Stardust it just started. Economy-wise, very similar as well. But keep in mind, Stardust is mining gas already at his third. So that gives him the boost he needs to warp in High Templars and to get a few Archons in the mix.
I like the upgrades overall for MC. I just like charge when it comes to these Colossus versus Colossus-based plays because of how the Zealots can mess around with Colossi in those engagements. But at the same time, he actually didn't have that many Zealots. How many has he got to? Okay, 10. So
you will warp in more Zealots. Once you start to warp in High Templars, you will warp in more Zealots because you have the minerals.
And this Nexus being spotted over here has to be selling a story, right? Like, oh, this is my third base. Don't think there's anything else going on.
But minute 15, when he scouted the third Nexus, MC has to be asking himself, did that guy really stay on two base for 15 minutes?
This long?
And he didn't even move out. He was not even trying to pressure me. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Is there proxy double Stargate Tempest on the map, or what is he doing?
Solving this puzzle for MC is taking a little while. Wait a minute. Again, what's that sent up to the top right? He's sending a few Zealots around. I think... No, he's actually looking for harassment, so he's not going to find the hidden base.
MC took a slight supply lead here. It's nothing big. Stardust, of course, having the +3 in production tab, while MC is actually not even starting it. So if he waits longer, or long enough, then Stardust has the upgrade lead.
Yeah, and considering MC had the slight upgrade lead for the entire game and not starting the +3 now to kind of solidify that. I mean, Stardust just feels comfortable in how much economy he has because of that hidden base as well.
Yeah, I think he tricked him.
Yeah, I think he has.
It looks like he completely tricked him. MC is going for the attack now. So ahead 20 supply. What is the army supply? Yeah, that's actually the army supply he's ahead in.
Okay.
+3 will most likely not finish before the fight, because I think MC will be very aggressive from here on, especially after he saw the army on the right side.
And the army supply difference was in the majority of the harassing Zealots. So now it's very, very even once that has been cleaned up. And I don't think the MC can really find too much of a pressure point here. But the army is very split up, and he actually loses a big chunk of his army before it even starts. The Zealots at the back aren't even in a good position here for Stardust. So I think Stardust might actually lose this engagement. He might have to disengage, but he has to go for it anyway now, considering the position that he's in. The majority of the Zealots are gone. But MC's Colossi at the back were doing quite a bit. But the lines have been thinned out, so the reinforcing Zealots for Stardust are pushing this away.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, the charge slots, if they reinforce and if they come a little bit from the side, the Colossus will spread up their fire. They're shooting on their own legs, trying to kill the Zealots, and you waste so much DPS in your army, and that's exactly what happens. So the supply is still even. How many Colossus do we have? 6 against 6, 1 Archon against 1 Archon. Stardust still has 2 Immortals in the mix, while MC has none. So this is a huge deal, especially if he can keep them alive for a while.
But it's double robo production for Stardust overall. It's double robo production. So yes, whilst it was 6 to 6, it's now 8 to 6, which is a big, big deal here. MC has to go home with his tail tucked between his legs, basically. Even though I don't feel that initially that was the best engagement for Stardust, but then with the reinforcement point really hit it home.
Man, and now he has +3 against only +2. Still not started the upgrade. MC is trying to transitioning into Tempest from here on, but I tell you, Stardust is not giving him the time. I'm pretty sure he will build up his army composition now. He's not going to get any useless units. It's just going to be Archons, Colossus, Immortal, maybe a few Zealots in the mix, and he's going for it. He will press it for sure.
I mean, if you're in Stardust position right now, he has to know how much of a boon the idea of the extra gas, at least from that extra base, is going to help him out in terms of reinvestment here by MC. But seeing only the gases being taken at this location, now MC has to be thinking, what on earth? How are you fueling this army?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So double Immortal production, he's adding more and more Archons, Stardust that is, while MC is getting closer to the Tempest, but the Fleet Beacon is still on the way, the second Stargate as well, and you need a little bit of gas bank to start the Tempest production, so you will have less Archons in your mix for sure once you start the production of the Tempest.
Oh, that's such a good point, because if Stardust for now wanted to try and just hit this window of opportunity with that gas being spent elsewhere, now that he's maxed out as well, this Warp Prism, this harassment has to bring Stardust back, and it does. And he's going to get out here with a few of them, but this, I think that MC kind of had to buy himself some time, definitely.
That was a very good move. That was a very, very good move. It brought back the whole army. Now there are a few Zealots on the third base, but with a cannon and reinforcements, that should be enough to clean it up. But look at MC, he lifts the army movement. He saw the recall in the main base, so now he's walking to the right side. But he got scouted by Stardust.
Yeah, and he's going to go back in with the Warp Prism again, not really doing too much just yet. Extra cannons are being added on there to try and fend that off. The Stalkers really, really want to get to that Warp Prism, which already warps into plenty more Zealots as well anyway. And all the while, the armies are just dancing around in the middle of the map. So MC, I think he's looking like...
for a base trade.
Yeah, something.
I mean, Stardust wants to fight. He wants to fight right now. He wants to go. Look at his army movement. He's in front of the natural, while MC, his army is way smaller. I mean, we see it's actually 5 against 4 Archons, but the 5 Immortals make the huge difference.
Yes, oh yes. As I always say, man, they're pretty much a backbone of this army because they're dishing out so much damage, not really dying off at all, taking a lot of punishment. Plus 3 weapons just finished here for MC. He's going to recall out in the middle. Doesn't want to be taking that fight because, again, his army is just smaller, and he wasn't with his Tempests, all importantly, which are a big component to the army.
He bought a lot of time. How many? It's 4 Tempests. The 5th and 6th, and even the 7th is queued up.
Jeez.
He's warping an additional High Templars, and I think MC bought enough time to take this fight. There's one Colossus out of position on the right side. It's actually falling. Very annoying. Really hurts as well, because it's so expensive, but MC is going for it. He will snipe a few Tempests now.
Yeah, overall MC is very good at playing this Tempest style once he gets really up and running with it. And noticeably, anti-air, 3 Stalkers for Stardust? I mean, that's not really going to do massive amounts against this. Of course, he has 8 Archons if they're able to get under them, but on a map like Merry-Go-Round, you've got to be very careful about the high ground, low ground capabilities in the middle and being able to move away from those Archons.
You're not going to kill Tempest with Archons.
No, of course.
You definitely need something else as an answer. Did he see the Tempest, though?
Tempests, arguably. Like
yeah, Tempests are a very good answer to the Tempest. But did he see it? He was just walking back. I'm not 100% sure, and he's actually running into...
Is he actually going to go here? Okay, yeah, now he definitely sees it. And those Tempests are going to start picking away at this army slowly. Has to spread himself out. And he's actually been caught in a bit of an odd position here.
MC's very clumped up, though.
Yeah, trying to pull back from a lot of this. The Archons at the front, trying to soak up some of the splash damage to these Colossi, while MC has to micro back. The Archons are actually getting under these Tempests overall, so they are trying to do as much damage as they possibly can do, but the Colossus numbers waning here for Stardust. MC reinforcing with that pylon at the back. If he can bring in a few more units to reinforce his Colossi, maybe he'll be able to push this away, and indeed he will.
Look at the supply, it's still even. I mean, obviously, the Colossus are alive, but maybe with a flank, Stardust can take this fight, but it looks very hard. He's pretty clumped up.
Yeah.
There's nothing from the side, and MC has reinforcement pylons. So I think if he kites, he will be able to kill this army pretty easy.
I mean, look, that blink forwards is so important there from those Stalkers, getting on the top of a few of those Colossi. But at the same time, if he didn't do that, the Archons were constantly being evaporated. So for now, still even Stevens here. It's very close.
Oh, the Tempests were in such an awkward position. He should have fly a little bit to the right, so they were on the high ground that the Archons can't hit him.
Exactly. That's what I was saying before. Yeah. It's so important to utilize these high ground locations because they have great range. Why not use that to the best of your ability?
Yeah, I think if you are the Tempest guy, you want to take the fight slowly. You want to get 1 Colossus, maybe pick off 2. maybe even pick off an Archon if you, like from long range, and then you go for the fight. You set up a good flank and then you go for it. MC was pretty clumped, while Stardust had a good flank and was able to get to the Tempest, which shouldn't really happen.
I think he felt like his opponent just couldn't run in the position he was in, like right pressed up against his natural in his third base, and was a bit too eager about that. He sent 2 Zealots up there, but didn't go all the way. Oh, MC. Anyway, during all of this, he did establish himself his own 4th base, so he is happily mining off of that, but Stardust is looking for alternate routes of damage, looking for that Warp Prism on the left-hand side, now moving through the middle with his army as well. So
the Warp Prism is empty, and Stardust shows no interest in changing up here. He doesn't have a single Stargate on the map, or he's not warping in Stalkers or anything like that. He stays on Immortal Colossus Archon for now, even though he saw the double Stargate Tempest now. It's very interesting, and I think MC saw the probes, He knows what's going on. He's like, how long?
Yeah,
how long?
Clicks on the minerals.
Clicks on the gas, especially.
Oh, yeah. Those. Yeah, no, you're right, because the gas, the minerals actually haven't been mined from that vigorously at all. So, yeah, clicking on that gas, that's for sure. This Warp Prism trying to get out of bounds here in Merry-Go-Round, but alas, that is not possible.
It's very hard to fly away and getting greeted by 2 Tempests. Oh. There we go.
But noticeably, there's actually only 2 Tempests, which is kind of a big deal. I think you need... Do you need... It's 3 to... No. Is it 3 to kill a Colossus?
It's 4.
It's 4,
and
right?
5 to kill the other Tempest.
Okay, so, yeah.
I hope...
These numbers are really important. I guess 2, technically, you kill it in 2 volleys quite nicely, but...
I hope that was right, what I said. I hope I don't get wrecked.
Don't get wrecked.
On Twitter. Because I didn't play Tempest against Colossus for a while.
No? Okay. Well, at least he's doing something up at that base, trying to deal some damage and shut it down. But obviously, behind all of this, Stardust is trying to take his pseudo 4th, 5th in a usual location, at least. DT's looking to defend furiously.
Yeah, cleaning up the additional pylons on the map, and MC really wants to get rid of this base on the right-hand side, but given that Stardust is able to warp in DTs as well, it's very annoying to kill it.
Zealot's just going to stick around. I have an observer with them as well now, so should be able to deal with that.
MC has to be careful with his army movement. His Colossus were actually a little bit out of position there, and Stardust has the Watchtower, so he sees that.
It's crazy, actually, how this PvP has turned out. It was a back and forth, to now like a little bit of a stalemate in essence. But the Zealots are still trying to go to work up here. Doesn't want to fly that observer anywhere near the cannon. Doesn't want that to die off. And even still, all his Zealots get cleaned up during this harass.
By the way, the more I think about it, of the Tempest thing, I think it's 5 and 6, the magic numbers.
Okay. Either way, he doesn't have the magic number right now with only 2.
No, not at all. 2 is not enough at all. He's getting 2 more, but now he's at 200 supply, and Stardust is getting into very good position here. If he gets up the ramp... Oh, actually, where's he going?
He doesn't really want to. I guess if he wanted to take a straight engagement, his Zealots would have been very far out of position for that, trying to deal with this army. But actually, the Zealots get right on top of the Colossi, up to that top left-hand side. He blinked forwards and pushed forwards with his Archons. And even he gets a great trade. Look at this warping from Stardust from the Warp Prism as well.
Yeah, the Colossus are still alive for MC. He microed them very well, besides the very first one that died. Good shots there. All the Zealots are dying at the same time.
It's so close.
It's such a good PvP. It's such a high-level PvP.
Yeah.
Stardust for getting his Mothership Core. He should definitely retreat with that. Maybe the Observers as well. That's something he needs later on. There we go. Now he will lose them. Okay. And MC gave up on killing the base on the top right. It's just impossible to kill it because Stardust kept warping in units. He even has an Archon there now with 7 kills. So it's a hero. He killed a lot of Zealots.
Yep. 2 more Tempests going to be joining this army, so he will go up to 4 very soon.
Still not enough. Pretty sure it's 5 and 6, the more I think about it. And yeah. So... yeah, he's getting the 5th one. He's adding another Colossus. Both actually almost drained their bank. They are at 160 supply, kind of similar. I mean, there's not a big gap in between. The Colossus count, it is 7 against 5 right now. 2 in favor of MC, who also still, I mean, he still has the Tempest number. He has to utilize it a little bit better.
And I think as this game keeps going on, Stardust's fresh 5th base is really the point of contention, because as he kind of keeps going on, I mean, MC is going to have to, again, find an extra expansion. It's going to be far laying out, whereas Stardust has exploited a far laying out base for a very long time. So he's always going to have the technical advantage in terms of how much he's been mining.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Good position here for MC. He has to give up his Nexus, but I don't think Stardust has any chance to attack here. Maybe MC should think of getting one Oracle so he can finally utilize this Tempest. He has them in the composition, and now finally, yeah, he gets the Mothership Core.
Yeah, that Mothership Core instantly regretted that decision.
Oh.
But he's going to actually go for this. Again, a lot of Zealots trapped behind these Archons here for Stardust as he tries to move forward, trying to drop Zealots right next to these Colossi to deal with the kind of targeting from them. And I think that this was a bit of a suicide mission for Stardust. He's lost a lot going up here.
Look at the position. All the Archons were clumped up and they couldn't really fight. All the Colossus are still alive. The Tempest finally gunned down every single Colossus here. He tried to fly in with a Warp Prism to deal some damage, but not really worked out.
There's the blink forward. These Archons want to get on top of these Colossi because they just don't have any gateway units to really support them, as a lot of the Stalkers have fallen. The Colossi will shred those up pretty darn fast, and even with no support on the ground for those Colossi, they were still able to micro back constantly. I can't help but feel that Stardust gifted MC a big chunk of his army trying to go up that ramp.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely. I think what we just saw there was a fight that should have not happened like this. Now finally MC is getting this base and probably will win the game with this move as well.
Is there an observer with the army? Because that's a lot of Dark Templars. He's leaving them in reserve just to try. Yeah, there is some observers. So that was the kind of last-ditch effort. GG. MC ties up the series 1-1 after a pretty cool PvP in game number 2.
35 minutes PvP on Merry-Go. You don't see that too often. Eventually, the guy with the Tempest won, but man, that was a tough fight for MC.
Yeah, yes,
Stardust very stubborn on his unit composition, but still getting decent fights to stay alive in the game. I mean, obviously, he had the economy advantage, as you mentioned earlier on, and somehow was picking very good fights. And MC maybe not controlling the Tempest in the perfect way,
that
the way
first
he
Tempest
should have.
Fight.
Yeah.
If they'd have been on the high ground, that could have been a different story. They would have done, you know, quite a lot more during that. Because I mean, how many Stalkers did he really have until he actually walked in extra Stalkers for that blink forwards to help out the Archons? So
yeah,
could have gone differently.
I wonder if MC thought in the very first big fight it's going to be pretty much easy victory anyways. Like I will kill your Colossus and then mine remain and I will win the fight. But that's not what happened. He kept his Colossus, but he wasn't able to kill the Archon Blinkstalker afterwards. But yeah, he made it in the end. Very nice game. And the third map is going to be Overgrowth. Yeah, we will figure out. I mean, I would call we won't see a Stargate here on this time.
Yeah.
MC was opening up one gate Robo into Nexus against Grubby here. I don't know if I would recommend that against Stardust, because usually that's the guy who wants to punish you for getting an early second Nexus. But yeah, we will find out.
Yeah, he's certainly no slouch when it comes to risking it in high-pressure situations. And winning this game and just moving on to the winner's game itself in a group so stacked, really, in one of the hardest groups here in the round of 16, is very, very important. You don't really want to go down to that lowers match. So anyway, we're going to get into game number 3 now between Stardust and MC. Overgrowth is our map. Our 2 previous champions of WCS Europe face off in one final map to determine who moves on to the winners. As we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it is our red Protoss. Tying things up, it is MC. And down to the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Protoss. Representing my insanity, it's Stardust.
Who was that?
It's Apollo.
Oh, it was Apollo? Ah, I see.
Okay.
He's having a good time today.
Yeah.
You should check out his Twitter, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He's had a really nice day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, after like Merry-Go, that was a very, very nice PvP. Beautiful to watch, I have to say. Obviously, smaller mistakes make the game very interesting, but that was very, very exciting to watch. And Overgrowth now, we will see how that pans out. I mean, It's a more strict map. You can't really blink in that well if you want to go for that, because you're going to be trapped rather easily. But still, Blink Stalkers are a solid option. We saw Mana yesterday killing... sorry, who was the... Damn.
Who was the other Protoss?
Oh, Velmu, obviously.
Yeah, Velmu.
Oh.
That guy.
Thanks for helping me out.
Sorry, man, I left you in the ditch there.
No, he was killing him with Blink Stalkers. Obviously, he was very far ahead from the early game, but it's something you can do. Especially if you get some good force shoots to trap the Immortals on the natural entrance.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Both players taking double gas here, 2 and 1, and he's probably going to end up rallying into that one by the looks of things. And yeah, there we go. So, goes 3 into each. As Proby is going to be moving out. He was already scouting out for any kind of proxies again, was MC. He is taking no chances against Stardust.
He doesn't want to die. It's any kind of proxy gates.
Doesn't want to die.
Yeah, not at all. He wants to advance here. I mean,
yeah.
It's important.
Be kind of nice.
Stardust is getting a Zealot with this. No, he's canceling it. Never mind. Just once again to be safe in case there is some kind of proxy. So you want to have a fighting unit already. And yeah, both will scout each other. Both will see the chrono boost being spent. Maybe even the gas, because sometimes you can drop the Stargate, for example, anyways. You don't really care if your opponent sees it. Then you could cancel it by build something else, but we didn't see that yesterday, and I don't think we will see it today.
And MC reveals also that there is another pylon going down in here, so Stardust can be pretty safe in the fact that there's probably not going to be any kind of proxies on the map facing against him. So that's nice. That's nice.
There's the Stargate going up for both players.
Stargate.
And this is interesting. So MC early on, in the very first map, he got the Stargate and built Phoenixes.
Yep.
Will he do it again?
Ooh.
Because I think Stardust, I would say 70% is going for an Oracle. And whoever goes for Phoenixes now will have the advantage, unless both go for Phoenixes, and then it's going to be very tricky, because then the guy who stacks them up has the advantage, and it will be very nasty.
Yeah.
I don't like it too much.
Yeah, I think Stardust goes Oracle. Let's see if he does. There we go.
And MC, that's the big question here. Will he start an Oracle or Phoenix? Oh, he gets the Phoenix.
Lucky number 7, man. Lucky number 7. You rolled the dice. You did okay. Okay, it's only a 2-sided dice, to be fair. You can say 3-sided dice if you want Void Rays, but nobody does that.
Yeah,
so
if you're totally crazy, you can build a Void Ray. Stardust is following this up with 2 more gateways. I think he goes full-on aggression with this. Maybe, at least. He does have a pylon nearby, and the probe is still there, so I think he will eventually, once he figured out what is going on, drop a second pylon behind the natural. MC is only on 1 gate. It's Stargate, Gate, Robo, with Phoenixes. And Phoenixes obviously are good against the Oracle, but not a really good fighting unit when it comes to gateway aggression.
Well, Twilight Council being added on here as well for Stardust. The Oracle is going to start flying in pretty soon, but it's been a little bit sneaky, a little bit wary. Pylon sees it though, so Phoenix is just going to instantly set themselves up and chase away.
Turning around doesn't help, little Oracle.
No, you may as well just go for kills, I guess.
You better revelate the Stalkers.
Yeah, you better do something.
No.
And even those Stalker Warpins, the Phoenix can go back and pick
but
things
it's 4 against 2. MC was not careful at all here. He's losing 1 Stalker for free.
If it had been 3, then I would have been saying maybe, but that 4th one really kind of tipped the scales there when it was 4-2. So, because the Phoenix technically could have come back and lifted things up, but Blink's on the way.
And there's additional pylon at the natural of MC. Of course, at home, the Mothership Core is being able to defend the Phoenixes here, and I think Stardust will warp in 3 more Stalkers and maybe push for the attack. Keep in mind there is a Robo though, so Immortals are on the way.
You called it right before in terms of Stardust, like always looking for aggression, especially on a map like this. I mean, they don't get more aggressive than pylons over in the back of your natural mineral line. But for now, he seems too wary about the Phoenix number. Wants to make sure that he's not going to lose anything to them.
Yeah, you could argue that MC maybe built an Oracle. That's why you want to have a few Stalkers at home as well. Just in, like, the Mothership Core is empty right now. It doesn't have the energy anymore. So you need to wait a little bit just in case if there is an Oracle. Can he trap the Phoenixes? No. Just too fast, but obviously.
He just saw every single Stalker's positioning. So, and he does see the Nexus going down. But this is buying him a lot of time to have an Immortal count rise and rise. So 2 Immortals already out. Is he going to add on a 3rd one pretty fast?
Look how aggressive Stardust is playing this. He sees the Nexus, he warps in 3 more Stalkers, he has 3 at home. He would love to join.
And he saw the angle those three came from. So, I mean, well, of course now he sees everything. But if he'd have only seen those three to begin with, he could have prepared, knowing that the reinforcing ones were coming to the front straight away.
Oh, Blink is not finished yet. I think he will warp in 3 Zealots at the pylon behind the minerals here to set up a small flank.
That'd be nice. Oh, that'd be great, actually, because he only has limited force fields on 2 sentries.
Yeah, 3 Zealots being warped in. Blink is ready.
Oh, this is really cool.
He's going for it.
If he can get a good engagement, but he starts picking things up with the Phoenix.
Yeah, good control there by MC. Very good control.
The Zealots have decided to just go elsewhere, look for damage in the mineral line, because he was pushed so far away. The Phoenix were a real tipper there.
And they will get 2 more, I believe. Stardust not paying attention. Okay, he picks one off.
Ah, nice. That was all right. Okay, but he is getting a few probes. He's got 3 already.
Not enough.
No.
It's not enough yet. We need a little bit more. Especially the amount of Stalkers he warped in. Somehow Stardust...
Whoa, ring around the rosy, mate.
Yeah.
Stardust decides to head on a void ray behind all of this, realizing his opponent's army is quite strong and needs any unit he can get, but the Stalkers have found their way all the way to the Nexus?
Is MC going all in here? He's not producing probes anymore.
Yeah.
Full army production.
He's got to
there
go
we
back
go.
to probes.
Okay.
Gotta. All right, so finds the pylon. We'll be able to shut that down in the end. But this gave Stardust a lot of room to gain himself a probe lead.
So many Stalkers on the map. 11 right now. I think he lost 3 or something in the process, so he warped in quite a lot, and that's usually not something you want to do.
I'm happy to see him not let that Void Ray finish during all of this. But yeah, so adding on the Robo, getting on.
I think he was scared for a little bit that MC is actually going for the attack. When the Blink Stalkers were walking to the natural, that's the moment when he started the Void Ray. Just in case, if MC is going for a counterattack, you have a unit at home that it can actually fight.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've got access to a Stargate, we'll go for that Void Ray. No problemo.
And we see the very fast Robo Bay. Obviously, MC had the Robo, so the Robo Bay is on the way, while Stardust is lacking behind in any kind of tech because he was warping in so many Stalkers, and Stalkers are not a good fighting unit in PvP.
No. And he's only 6 probes behind, really, in the end. So if he just keeps chrono boosting into his next side, I mean, now that he has that advantage in tech, I mean, that could be nice. He sees the fact that the chrono boost is going into the Robo, so at least he knows what's going on Stardust's side of the map.
I mean, 6 probe is quite a lot, though, and MC wants to get rid of this probe advantage by getting an Oracle right now, after he was sacrificing his Phoenix, kind of making... or giving the Stardust the feeling like, okay, there's no air unit anymore. That's the moment when he started his Oracle.
And he's going to have to sneak out via the middle of the map because of the pylon positionings.
Yeah.
And I think this might be why he's actually coming down here to clean up.
Looks like it.
So the Oracle can get out and be undetected during all of this. Very nice, actually, by MC.
Yeah, leaving 3 Immortals at home and a Sentry. Maybe the Sentry will be able to pick it off, but no, Stardust is not going for it.
It's like traffic lights. The Oracle was just waiting. It's like, yeah, okay, it's good to go, green. So he's on the way to do a little bit of damage. And actually, he's going to go uncontested by the looks of things. The Stalkers are all in the middle.
Yeah, there are 2 Sentries at home. There should be a Mothership Core somewhere. A Stardust Mothership Core, obviously.
It's in the main. So if he goes to the natural straight, then he could do quite a bit of damage.
You shouldn't fly over the Nexus.
Oh, the Nexus did spot it. But he's not reacting with his Mothership Core. So he's going to get a few probe kills, having to warp in some Stalkers.
4, 5...
and that not only even things up, but now he's in the lead. So 48 to 40
9,
to 39
10.
to 38.
I think
Ouchies.
I think it was 10 probes that he got here, and you're right. He definitely made up the deficit in a very, very nice way.
Yeah.
Very impressive here, and
he saw the 3rd going down as well, so he knows the timing on that.
And I think he wants to be aggressive. He's adding 3 more gateways, so he's on 6 right now. Even 7, I believe. He's chrono boosting his Stalkers and Thermal Lance. And especially because he saw the 3rd base, he's like, okay.
That's an investment.
You're kidding me? You're behind in Colossus and you get the 3rd right now, while having so many useless Stalkers on the map.
Yeah.
I'm going for the kill here.
And if those Stalkers try and blink into this army and it is well positioned, those 3 Immortals are going to have a field day, so...
I love the split up here for MC. The only thing the Blink Stalkers are good at is like...
buying time, running around in circles.
Yeah. So he split up his army for a while, tried to chase down the Blink Stalkers, a few units to the left, a few to the right, and he will actually greet the Stalkers, yeah. So it's working out for him.
He's corralling them, basically, slowly shepherding them back to the pens of Stardust. And he's up in terms of army supply. It's 83 to 66. Stardust with this 3rd base, it's just 400 minerals of dead weight right now that isn't really doing a whole lot.
I even I even wonder if you go for the throat, if you push for the natural.
Let's see one Colossus. Wait, no, okay, there's two Colossus. There's another Colossus somewhere with this for Stardust. It's in the back, and we'll rendezvous with this army pretty soon. But still, as you said, not the Stalkers aren't really going to do a whole. Well, I mean,
it's quite a lot.
A good angle.
If they blink in and somehow sniper Colossus, they were useful.
They're going to try, I think, eventually. Time Warp slowing a lot of this down, really denying it from actually doing anything.
Will the Nexus Cannon actually help that much? MC is falling. He needs the warp in pylon. Yeah, he warped in a very far position, so it takes a while to reinforce this army here.
And hitting before +2 actually is going to be quite important here for MC as he just push forwards. There's the blink forwards into this, but the Stalkers just absolutely evaporate. It's not going to work when you've got the backbone of those Immortals there to shut it down, as well as a lot of Zealots as well. MC brings down the Nexus. He kills off a big chunk of this army, but the Archon's reinforcing, trying to push this away. Immortals trying to get on top of those Colossi as well. They do get one of them.
He needs Zealots. MC needs to warp in Zealots.
Yeah, he needs these reinforcements. They've not been quite as aggressive because this pylon has only just finished up. Well, along with the top one as well, of course.
Swapping in Stalkers. Okay. We will see if that's enough because there's still 3 Colossus alive. And
there's 2 weapons finished as well. I
think what happened there, Stardust jumped in and he didn't queue the Colossus. They were just on a tech move as far as I saw it because none of the Colossus were actually targeting down. That was very interesting to see. As far as I saw it was, I think, a micro mistake.
And also during this, Stardust knows that his opponent hasn't taken a third base. He actually has a unit positioned up there to be able to spot that. So that is always quite nice for him.
And yeah, you mentioned the +2 earlier. He was hitting before it, but now it's down. And MC feeling that he can't break his opponent now, so he's falling back, getting a Twilight Council, but the upgrade will be so delayed.
I mean, in the end, there's 3 really big factors to that. It's if your opponent has invested into a Nexus, he invested into +2, that he wasn't there in that fight, and you're still not breaking him during that, whilst killing all those probes before with the Oracle, what are you going to do? I mean, technically the Nexus actually provided a lot of tanking, a lot of firepower behind that Photon Overcharge, yes, so for the army to take a little bit of damage during it, but there are these big factors.
And investing into Archons as well.
Yeah.
And they made the difference in the fight, I believe. Having those 2 or 3 Archons are a huge factor. And MC feels the pressure. He's getting a Dark Shrine behind this, not a Templar Archives. Obviously, you can make Archons out of Dark Templars as well, but it's not that, it doesn't feel that good, especially if you're low economy.
And Stardust with the addition of a delayed Oracle, in essence, to try and poke away at mineral lines. I really do like delayed Oracles.
Yeah, me too.
Almost in every matchup, actually, now that I think about it. they can find sneaky kills here and there.
Definitely, yeah. Especially if there is no cannon at the 3rd. And it is a low eco game, so you want to try to save your minerals. You don't want to make any cannons or have any static defense there.
Well, MC is looking for a different route. He's going for the Dark Shrine for his harassment.
What are these guys doing?
I've been watching it for a while, as has Funker, and he's been thoroughly enjoying it by the looks of things.
Having a good time. Okay, finally the Stalker wins.
I mean, the Zealot was probably never going to win that fight, let's be fair.
If you don't micro, easy peasy.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Just step into Stardust feeds. How annoying it was to micro there was single Stalker to kill the Zealot.
True. I mean, but then again, he didn't really slip up on his macro back at home, 146 to 110. So you can't fault the guy if he's going to keep on top of that as well.
Oh, that's true. Stardust ahead, 40 supply right now. Is that all army supply? I wonder. Oh wow.
Yeah,
it is.
Basically,
it is. Dark Templars have been warped in where? On the right side. Do we have a cannon in the... No, there's no cannon in the natural of Stardust. Neither in the main base.
There's not a single observer.
Oh my god. He's building one, but he's supply blocked right now.
Okay, not great. Not a great start to deal with DTs, that's for sure. There's actually... Is there one in that wall prism?
No, it's 4 Zealots.
Oh, okay. So there's one leading the charge, though, in front of that. And because there isn't really that much anti-air, this Warp Prism is doing the jukes and the jives.
And the DTs, they will be so strong here.
Yeah.
Perfect call by MC. He's warping in 4 additional DTs.
That Observer really needs to do a lot of work.
Oh my god.
A lot of work. He's getting so many probes.
Look at this.
Uh-oh.
Stardust is completely out of position now. He backed off. There's a DT in every base right now, besides his main base, where are no probes anyways, right?
He's killed 31 workers so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the economy here is going to be significantly crippled. Oh my god, it really is. So Stardust is kind of scrambling. I mean, yes, he had a bigger army to begin with, but still. Oh, that Dark Templar, why are you not killing probes? You could be killing probes.
He's attacking the Nexus. That's a slight hiccup here, because I think he would have got at least 5 more probes.
Yeah.
Stalling the the time. And the Oracle on the other side, in the main base, though, is killing a few probes. It does have 6 kills, 7 already. Nice control there, getting on the edge of the gas. Being gunned down by the Stalkers, I believe.
Yeah,
Nope, gets away.
Run away. Run away, run away. So 30 workers to 40 workers. Technically, MC has a little bit of income advantage here. And technically, there is Blink in favor of Stardust, but his army's strength is still quite powerful. 129 to 101.
2 HP.
Jeez,
Sorry.
Oracle.
Was very close with the Oracle.
Jeez.
Wait,
how many Colossi do we have? 5 against 7. 5 against 7 in favor of MC. So they will do quite a bit, but that's a lot of Zealots.
Did MC see the army? Because he's backing off right now. His Nexus is kind of exposed, and does he know what's coming? He's actually in a very weird position right now.
Yeah, yes he is. He needs to keep that base alive. That's his lifeline, that's his blood. And the Colossi are on top of it. He's basically sieging this location. How is he going to be able to push in here?
Look at the time warp, wow.
Slowing so much down. Whoop, no, Mothership Core falls, but Nexus actually is saved during all of this. I can't believe he was able to push that back.
Yeah, it was a close one. He was getting a lot of free shots into the Zealots once they were in the time warp. Two DTs once again on the right-hand side.
And he was so patient with that time warp as well.
Yeah.
I mean, MC's defensive time warp. He just understood that he fully couldn't engage with the one underneath him and allowed those shots to go down on the Nexus to buy him just a little bit more time.
Both still didn't start +3, by the way. We had minute 24, and both didn't really find the money to actually spend it into the Forge because it's such a low eco game. They are killing so many probes against each other, and MC has a huge army. It's, or not a huge army, but a very strong force. On the right-hand side, it's 6 DTs and 4 Zealots. If they walk into the natural and kill the cannon, the Nexus is gone within seconds.
Yeah, yeah. There's just so much damage that those DTs are going to churn out onto that Nexus if he really wants to. But likewise, well, he's way out of position. He is going to lose that Nexus. There's no way he's getting back to reinforce that.
It's time to base trade.
Yeah, it's time for that. He's going for some kind of base exchange here because, I mean, what else can you do? What else can you do? Dark Shrine is on the way for Stardust. He realizes, well, it's do or die now. I'm going to have to try and scramble my way out of this one.
Oh no, in the natural of Stardust, all the units of MC, they are not fighting, they're just on move command. They are all getting cleaned up by 3 Zealots in a single cannon.
Oh my, oh my. All right, this is great for Stardust so far. And ultimately, there's one observer out for MC, and if he gets on top, there's no gas either. So
where's the Mothership Core?
He only has one observer with this Dark Shrine on the way.
Stardust has no Mothership. Right, he has no Mothership Core.
Yeah.
He can't recall out.
He has no Mothership Core, you are correct.
So once he walks up this ramp, he's not getting down anymore.
I guess so, if he sets up a good concave. One Archon will be thrown away for free here, trying to get up that ramp.
I don't know if you want to walk up there.
Oh, actually, he's coming in from both sides here. The full 360 surround attempted.
Oh, it looks good, actually.
Yeah. He's doing a lot of damage to this army.
Wow.
The Colossi just evaporate, and with the amount of Colossi he has, but the Observer died during all of that.
Oh my. This is crazy.
And he doesn't have money for another Observer.
Stardust, you mean...
And he has no probes.
So Stardust wins the game with warping in 3 DTs now?
I guess so.
Oh no.
I guess he just...
this guy, he's making it work.
Wait, okay, army supply, 3368. It doesn't matter. These Dark Templars are just going to win the game.
GG.
He has no observer. Archon, splash your own units and somehow kill the Dark Templars. That's the only way I can think.
So can you win the base trade earlier? No, DTs have actually pretty high DPS against buildings.
And another Nexus is going to go down in the top left-hand corner. He's not going to find that for ages. These Dark Templars, that one observer he had all game.
Did he in the big fight? Did you see it dying?
I've got to watch the replay back. Okay. Got to watch the replay back. But this is the last Nexus of MC. He is going to be revealed. Every single building is going to be revealed. And those 4 Dark Templars have just ended MC's run in this series.
And he's going to warp in more and more DTs for the defense as well. There's one slicing away at the Stalkers. And MC is trying to win the base trade, trying to kill the buildings before, but it's not going to work. Has not rebuilt their base and is being revealed. That is Minchul in this case. And wow, that was crazy. I was thinking like, man, Stardust is throwing away his whole army. But I guess he was aiming for the observer.
He threw his entire army away for one observer. But, I mean, I guess you just have to assume, well, I hope he doesn't have that many observers on the map or something like that.
He knew. I'm pretty sure he knew. And yeah, we will see Colossus getting killed by DTs.
GG. Stardust takes the series to start things off in our final group of the round of 16 after a really awesome PvP series. That was back and forth, that was feisty, that was great to start the night off.
Yeah, and Paul has to ask him, did he knew it was only a single observer left? Because I really wonder if that was like, because it looked...
Because it won him the game.
Yeah.
It won him the game.
And I mean, the way he had his Colossus positioned in the very last fight, they were a little bit of like AFK. They were like shooting everywhere, shooting buildings.
Yeah.
MC was just walking up the ramp and then killing his army, and then it's like, okay, there's no observer left. I win.
And that's how the cookie crumbles. In the end, Stardust takes our first series 2-1 over MC. The champion from Season 2 defeats our champion from Season 1 here in 2014. Yeah, so now we have ourselves, after this, it's going to be a TVT, so a bit of a flip, as it were.
Yep. All
right, so, guys, join us after this little interview for our TVT as we now head over to Mr. Paul Shalona and Stardust.
Thank you very much, Kalaris. Yes, with Stardust. Well done. Very nice. Everyone here really enjoyed that. Did you enjoy it?
Haven't you seen my face? End of games, I just singing. I knew I killed the last observer, so I knew.
You did know? Okay, all right, that's cheeky. That's very cheeky. So talk to me about the match overall. What was your plan against MC going in?
I knew MC style. He's not really aggressive opening using. He never using really aggressive opening, except proxy something. So I knew I can play very little bit greedy than MC, so I did that. But unfortunately, in game 2, he did very well, and the map is very difficult to attack with only Colossus versus Tempest. So I was underestimate, blah blah blah, and so I lose. Then, it's something strange.
You didn't expect that build from him?
Which build?
The second one.
The Tempest? Yeah. That's not build, just unit. Yeah. But even with that, I defense first 200 attack, so I thought I have a sword, much faster sword, so I have a lot of gas, so I win just easily, and then I just enjoyed the game because I have like more than 10 Archon, but he fight very well, so that was just...
It's a very long game as well, game 2.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, you're used to seeing PvPs fast normally.
No, actually, PvP is long game, basically. Hey, you don't remember first?
No, I see all these short games.
No, you don't remember versus Sun last WCS? It was, every game was long game, yeah.
But always with you?
Kind of. maybe.
All right, well done. Congratulations. We'll see you in the winners' game. Stardust is safely through to the winners' match in a very difficult group as well. So we'll see him in a little bit. But here's Apollo with a breakdown of how this man beat MC.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Here I am with my screen of knowledge once again. And we're going to really look at and highlight that third game, which was crazy. It was completely back and forth by both players. And what we're going to look at is the last couple of moments. If we jump into it a moment, before we start playing, let's just look at the situation that we're currently in. MC's trailing this part of the game. He doesn't have the same army size as Stardust. If he takes a direct engagement, he's going to lose. So he makes this strategy and this plan from the south side of the map towards the third base, or fourth base, I suppose, in this game of Stardust. He has 6 DTs and Zealots. As soon as he made these, and he didn't go in with them initially, I was thinking, okay, why? Why don't you just go? And then the plan became apparent as a couple more seconds tick by. You can see here on the Xel'Naga in the middle, MC moves to take this. He knows he can't win the fight, so the only way possible may be in a base trade. If he can win that, he can win the game. So if we play it from here, MC decides to go for it. And it becomes a kind of a weird scenario, because MC, halfway through the base trade, decides, I don't have my probes out. So he's in a bit of trouble. So if we fast forward it a little bit again, MC's probes are stuck, and he has to run to the main base. Whereas Stardust's probes have escaped. And MC starts to realize that if he goes for a base trade, Stardust will be faster, so it won't work. So then MC says, okay, I'll come back and fight you. And then let's have a look at that. So let's fast forward in. Yes, I was going to get to that. The Observer is very, very important. Can we pause it for a second, please, Funker? Pause it, please. Thank you. Yes. This up here, while the base trade going on, quite important to mention, is the Dark Shrine from Stardust, who was already thinking at this time, how can I win if a fight happens? And that's the Dark Shrine. If he can get Dark Templar in, kill the Observer, it's going to be game. So in the middle of this fight before it begins, it's crazy. No one really knows what's going to happen because everyone's really focusing, can MC take a fight that he can't win? How is he going to do this? So that was the main focus for everyone in the commentary and the viewership, but Stardust focus is very different to what you were thinking about. So he was on about, where's the Observer? If I kill it and warp in these Dark Templar, I'm going to win. And so we see this fight happen. And it looks like Stardust takes a really, really bad fight. And he does in a way, because he loses his entire army, but that's the goal. That hole there is everything. So if we play it from this point, we can just see that happen. Observer moves forward. Stardust has an Observer right here. And the whole focus, Stardust is like, get it! Get it! Get it! Did you get it? Game. And as soon as that's gone, because before, if we just pause this for a second again, slightly north, there was the robotics facility, if I remember, and I saw you focus that down and obviously becomes a part of the plan from this point. Dark Shrine about to finish up, and I think you said this is where he started singing. And he knew the game was over. So that was it, unfortunately. MC probably at this point was like, I got you, I've got you. And then, of course, as soon as the Dark Templar came in, the game was over, because then he realized no probes, no Observer, no robotics facility. The game was done. Thank you, Stardust, for the guest appearance. Thank you, guys, for watching. Red Eye, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just got blinded by a light there. I think it was Stardust winning against MC. The crowd really enjoyed that one, didn't you? Didn't you? They did, trust me, they did. They definitely did. And we've got more action to come in Group D. We're not finished by a long shot. Next up, it's a TVT between two teammates. One of them has a 0-18 record. Time to make that a difference. We'll see you after the break for Daishi versus 4GG. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League. Round of 16 is coming to a close as we end Group D. What a rowdy bunch we have this evening. It's good. We like that a lot. We're back with Hasselhoff. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's very loud, actually. It's very hard to hear you.
Crazy. They've gone absolutely crazy.
Looks like it. PvP is very exciting, it seems.
Oh, is that what you're going to claim that?
Are they looking for the TVT?
Oh, okay. I like that. All right. So, yeah, very exciting PvP.
Yeah, it was crazy.
A great game, too, as well.
Second and third map have been extremely nice to watch for a PvP, yeah.
Yeah, definitely for Protoss as well. You must have really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
really
I was enjoying it a lot, yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on. Let's just show you where we are in Group D right now in terms of the bracket. MC, Season 1 champion, goes down to the lower bracket, having lost to the Season 2 champion here in Europe. Stardust moving on, one place away from making another round of 8 appearance. Daishi now takes on 4GG. It's teammate versus teammate and Terran versus Terran. It's our symmetrical Group D.
Indeed, yeah, and Daishi is he's going to have a really hard time. When we did our preparation, there were two things we found out. First of all, he's 0-18 against 4GG.
Yes.
And during the preparation, he was sitting next to us, and he told me, eventually, I have to win a best of 3, right? And he told me, I'm going to take one map because I have a very good build prepared.
Okay, all right. I mean, we've been speaking to Daishi. Let's talk about him first. It's kind of unfortunate. The last time he made the round of 16, he also had a very tough group back then as well. Again, has definitely got the hardest of the 4 groups in this round of 16. I mean, 428 record head-to-head in this group against the other 3 players suggests strongly to me that he's got no chance of getting out of this group. But in a weird kind of way, Dennis, that actually is quite good for him because he can actually be chilled. He can relax. He doesn't have any expectations on him. There's no pressure. And actually, I think there's a little bit of pressure on the other players to beat him because they're expected to beat him.
Could be, definitely, because it's such an important tournament. They definitely expect to beat him. Yeah. It's not like in any other tournament where you play for a few €100 maybe. You think like, okay, it's Daishi, I'm going to beat him anyways. But in WCS, you have to beat him if you want to advance. And
you've been in this situation, I know, from all the years of EPS games that you've had. And in Germany, EPS is obviously a big deal. And you've played players that, on paper, people go, oh, Hasselhoff will easily beat that player. And do you feel that pressure then? Do you like, oh, God, please don't make it harder for me?
I think there are some players you just have the number. It always works out against them, no matter what build you go for, no matter what they try. You're always ahead, and at some point, they have a mental block against you. They just can't beat you anymore. And I don't know if Daishi is at that point, but 0-18 is pretty hard already.
It's pretty rough, isn't it?
And they were living together in a team house for a while, and I know that Daishi learned a lot from 4GG, so maybe it's just extremely hard for him to beat him. Just even taking a map seems to be extremely difficult.
Yeah, I think he might do that tonight. 4GG, on the other hand, I mean, he's been #1 on Aligulac all season long, all year long in TVT. His TVT is world class. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just remembered when Bunny was joining one of his very first WCS seasons, he got into a group with 4GG, and they had some epic PvPs, but 4GG was always one step ahead. And his TVT, I think, that's something you learn in Korea. Like all the Terrans there, they have such good TVT, and they know exactly how to play it. And he was a good Brood War player as well. And I mean, the matchup is not 100% similar, but you can definitely get the same idea of it.
71% rounded up right now is his all-time TVT win rate, which is just extraordinary. He's also one of only a handful of players, of course, to make the Premier League every season. Has done that for the last, well, for all 6 seasons. Been in the round of 4 twice as well last season. It was the second time he'd done it. So he knows how to win these round of 16s. He knows how to get through, and that's going to help him tonight.
I would say in TVT, of course, but I have to say against the other 2 Korean Protosses, he will have a very hard time because 4GG usually is very predictable. And I know that MC and Stardust, they do their homework, and they have some very, very nasty Protoss builds as well. They know their tricks, and especially MC is like super aggressive against Terrans. And I think if 4GG doesn't change it up at all, he might have a very hard time against the Protosses.
Okay. Interesting. Daishi's ruled out Overgrowth. King Sejong and Foxtrot gone from 4GG. So let's see where the Frenchman goes for the final one. Catalina, maybe?
Could be anything, though. As I mentioned, I mean,
yeah,
Daichi
it
said he
doesn't
has
really
a specific build prepared, so maybe that's why he vetoed out Overgrowth, because it's a very straight-up map. Everyone played it a few thousand times.
I mean, he has to do whatever he needs to do here. He has to try and catch 4GG out, doesn't he? He's got to throw me something that's a bit random.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And so Katarina, Deadwing, and Nimbus, that's all the maps that have more than one scouting position.
Yep. And
none of the two-player maps.
And the 3 least played maps in the entire pool.
So we will see a lot of guess
yes,
first, I believe.
I guess we will.
A lot of guess first, and I said that earlier jokingly, the Terrans try to Protoss each other right now, like staying on one base, opening up with guess first, trying to do a lot of damage early on. And I could see that happening on these maps. I mean,
Catalina first, Nimbus second. So we're going to get a bit of a mix-up in this game, which is
nice.
That's nice. Yeah, I was going to say we haven't. It's nice to see a good range of the pool being played, and we saw a little bit of that in GSL this morning as well. Maps that you don't always see because obviously they're playing best of 7. So you have to actually see all the maps because it went to 4-3. Spoiler alert, sorry. But I like seeing the other maps. I want to see them played more regularly. I want to see them played more often. So we've got a good opportunity in this one. Do you think it hands anything to Daichi? I mean, I know I'm clutching at straws a little bit for him, but he's a very good player. Make no bones about that. But these 3 players in this division for him in this group, they are world class. So he's got to raise his game this evening.
he can be world class as well. No question about it. We saw some extremely impressive performances. I think it was at Home Story Cup, where he played very, very strong. 4. I think WCG had some decent results against I think he beat one of the Koreans,
yes,
as far as I believe.
the quarterfinals.
Yeah, he was in the quarterfinals. And he definitely has a shot, but as you mentioned, it's going to be very hard.
Okay. What are you going for? Are you going to stick with the safe bet?
Yeah, I have to go with 4GG. I mean,
after all that, Dennis built him up. He built the European up. He tried to stand as his brother in arms. But when it came to going over the top, it all came down to the Korean. 4GG is the heavy favourite in this matchup, possibly even in the group. Let's find out whether that proves to be true with your commentary team of Kalaris and Apollo.
Thanks, guys. From one mirror matchup to another, we now have TVT on the cards. And whilst our PvP was very, very flourishing, very well-rounded, very fantastic from one side or another, one of our players here has a lot to prove.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove, and he's got a lot to do here in this series. But I actually believe in him to take at least a map from 4GG today, being Daichi, of course, the player to do that. 4 map wins to 28 map losses versus all the players in the group. And obviously the one that stands out, the 0 map wins versus 4GG to 18 of 4GG's. Incredible record between them. But I believe in Daichi to get a single map here.
All right.
I don't know if he'll be able to take him out because 4GG, as they've said, is one of the best in the business when it comes to Terran versus Terran.
Yeah, and those the win-loss at the bottom obviously reflects in series, so it's across 18 maps that he hasn't been able to win overall.
It's very depressing. It's like 0-2, 0-3, 0-3, 0-3, 0-3, 0-2, 0-2.
Yeah.
So it's like, God, he can't even get a single game.
And then he tweets him this morning saying, ready for 20-0, mate, or something. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, Daishi's got an uphill battle here, but I believe in him to do so. The thing is, despite not being able to beat him in a competitive environment, he's able to go toe-to-toe, and they actually trade 50-50 on the ladder. So it's not like he cannot physically beat this guy ever, because he has done it before online. So hopefully he can do it today, but this is a massive milestone, just a single map here. And of course, they have played once in WCS before in the round of 32 last season. Yeah. Where 4GG did get that massive result once again, the semi-final finish. And again, Daichi did lose 0-2. Yeah. But I believe, I'm a believer.
Well, the 81%, it reflects on 13 wins and 3 losses in this matchup. And the only 3 people he lost to were so long ago, really. I mean, in WCS alone, it was MVP back, way back at the very beginning in 2013. Yep. And then MMA in Bucharest in 2013. And then actually Yoda recently, more recently, I should say, at DreamHack Valencia. Aside from that, he hangs with the best of them in TVT. He was we even dubbed him 4GG Mageddon at the very beginning because of how strong he was in this matchup. He was actually breaking numbers.
Here we go, boys. Here we go. Europe fighting. Can Daichi somehow escape today's group of death here in Group D? I don't know.
We'll find out. Spawning up to the north position, it's our red Terran representing Team Millennium. It is 4GG. A killer. And down to the bottom right, we have our blue Terran representing also Millennium. It's Daishi.
All right. So, aggression is Terran versus Terran. It's all about the gas-first builds. You can try to play the Defender, whether it be a Reaper expansion or a 15 gas expansion, but the most common and the most success comes from gas-first builds here. So that is probably going to be the go-to build overall. We may see a couple of differences come out from both sides, but should be the go-to build for both. And those cause crazy games. Daishi, though, has decided against that to start with, whereas 4GG has chosen that. Daishi's going for the 12 barracks here. Does he add a 12 gas shortly after? And that would tell us Reaper expansion, which is a little bit cheeky, but it is going to be the case. He is going to go for it. So on this map, it can work, though, because there's a lot of ground space inside the main. So you can actually jump in from multiple different areas. You can find out what you're playing against, and maybe you can get an SCV or two if you're lucky. But he will know what he's playing against, and it's going to become a very simple game for the first 8 minutes or so. Can Daishi defend 4GG's aggression?
Yeah, but he's very, very good at executing this aggression. That's the important thing. 4GG is one of the best in the business when it comes to this gas-first opener, and has, you know, quite a few tools available to him when putting on that aggression against Daishi here.
Daishi, though, as a player for me, has shown so many good games. Not massive results per se, apart from Home Story Cup where he got that top 4 finish. But let's just, for example's sake, use the Golden game from the round of 32 when he played against Golden. Yes, he lost the series, but he played amazingly.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
So Daishi definitely is one of the best up-and-comers in the European scene as a Terran player. Not quite on the bunny level, but has time to time shown excellent games. So I really think that he's got it within him to put up a surprise today in this group.
And to reinforce that point, I mean, Paul was mentioning earlier that 4GG is one of the only people that was 6 times in the Premier League, but Daishi's been here 5 times. There was only one season where he was only was able to advance to Challenger. Every single other time, he's been in the round of 32 and the round of 16. So if he was able to get past this round of 8, which would be mind-blowing for a lot of people, that would be massive for Daishi.
Yeah, he almost made the round of 8 before, narrowly losing to Jack G, actually, funny enough, another Terran versus Terran. Almost made it, but has, of course, never been to the round of 8 before. But he jumps in, and this is the part of the game which we explained a couple of minutes ago. He knows what he's playing against. He gets very unlucky from stopping that factory from being built, but he's already got 1 SCV to his name. He knows what he's playing against, and now it comes down to how well his defense is going to be. Every SCV kill, by the way, is massive. Of course, slowing 4GG down.
Getting 1 at least is a nice start. Marines are out, though, so should be able to poke away at that to make sure it doesn't do too much more.
Well, there is an SCV that has only got 2 hits before it dies if he wants to go back in there, but he is going to pull back. I'm surprised he pulled back because I thought he would have liked to maybe try to see if the second gas is going to be built or not. But he is out for now. Bunker on the way. Tightly against the command center, not too far forward. It's in a decent position to protect and also evacuate to jump in the main base if need be.
Yeah, definitely. And whilst all of this is going on with Daishi's command center finished up and good to go, 4GG now with his aggressive opener itself has to do a little bit of damage to kind of catch up in that because there is going to be double SCVs on the way.
The really confusing thing is for a non-Terran player, you say this and goes, okay, there's one guy on 2 base and the other's on 1. Surely he needs to do massive amounts of damage, but to be honest, you only need 2 or 3 SCVs, and you're actually sometimes in the lead if you're able to keep the pressure on and force SCVs to come off. So, I mean, the ultimate thing here, though, if Daishi takes no damage, he is absolutely going to enter.
Oh, loses his Reaper, though, to these first Hellions there now. The medevac is on the way as well, and this adds an extra little bit. Oh, but he sees it leaving the base.
Yeah, he doesn't know if it's what's in the medevac, but he can take a stab that the Hellions are on the ground and the medevac's in the air.
Yeah.
But right now, I think he may be able to defend this, to be honest. It depends on the positioning, but I think he's set to defend this.
Well, he's got himself medevac on the way himself. He has almost exactly the same unit composition, basically, so there is an opportunity.
Okay, so 4GG's going to go for the front door here. Daishi does not know that, but he's going to have to repair his bunker. He's got to be fast on repairing that bunker.
Yeah, he unloads before he even gets there, so that bunker's going to fall pretty fast, but he gets the instant spot and decides to pull out. With only 1 Marine in there, he could have done some damage, but it's a little bit of foolery, a little bit of trickery, because you don't know how many are in there.
6 Hellions is better than everything 4GG's got there. He loses 2 Marines, and Daishi is kind of sneaked out here. with this medivac.
That was very ambitious there by 4GG to try and start dropping on top of those. And
the curse is real.
No.
The curse is real.
Well, those Marines.
The curse is 100% real as Daishi leaves his base with everything and 4GG walks into the mineral lining. You can't take this amount of damage. He's going to lose every single SCV here.
They're lining up very nicely there. So a little bit of a split to try and keep these alive. But he needs even to land the Viking here during all of this because he's losing so much.
I believe in you, Daishi.
You may believe, but it might not be well rounded. I mean, right now he's trying to scramble for this defense. 10 workers gone down, 12 workers gone down. And that's a big, big blow to him.
Yeah, and remember that if we haven't actually looked properly at what 4GG's follow-up here, he's not looking to play this game long.
No.
He got double tech labs on the factory and starport, and he's actually just going to go for a push. He's got air dominance with the Vikings now. He's got tanks. He's got a medivac still. And he's simply going to walk to the natural of his opponent and start to siege it up. And if Daishi can't mine properly from his natural, then what's the point of a second base here?
Exactly. And what's really cool about this for 4GG is that, yes, of course, he did kill 12 workers. That's fine. That's nice. But also, another 12 units have been killed by 4GG as well, so it's reduced his army quite considerably.
But Daishi spotted what was happening. He knows that there's no command center. He knows that there's double tech labs on that starport and factory, so he's already switched up to build tanks of his own. He's got a turret and a Viking for himself, but he needs to build a tank. You cannot defend this without a tank. It is the most important part. He doesn't have enough gas right now. He needs to start the tank. He has to buy time now with his bunker on the natural, so he's got to have Marines it, he's got to repair it. He will take losses. I mean, okay, 4GG's not even going to go for the front here. He's just going to drop inside the main base.
And it's so out of vision. I mean, the Vikings might even just be in range there, but And
so there's hardly no time to buy here because it's already happening.
Yeah, it's right on his doorstep. And those Vikings are not only going to control the sky, but they're going to give him great vision here.
I mean, he's hunting down the last Viking. He can just sit on top of the starport here.
Yeah, this is very, very difficult.
Daishi cannot take air control. There's bunkers being built. The factory will go down next. And unfortunately, Daishi is looking at a loss.
Brilliant follow-up by 4GG here. Ever the aggressor, moving forwards, killing off the barracks, reducing any kind of production. Very, very soon, that falls.
Yeah, look at the Banshee. That's an awesome move. Just to come in, take off the Marines, and then take the tank down.
And there's one Marine. That's it, really. That missile turret somehow, some way has to scramble to the defense of a siege tank here whilst all of this is going on. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
The thing is 4GG can keep edging forward, remember, because the 3 Vikings are controlling the sky.
Yeah, so he has that little bit extra vision. He had to land his Viking as soon as it pops against all of this. And technically, he will have to repair his infrastructure eventually.
Yes, the turret up, though.
That's a nice addition. Getting that up is very, very strong. But he's still shelling away at this infrastructure. He needs to fly away and get out of there.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. That was quite a nice trade, getting the Banshee, really solving a little bit of the problem, but he had to sacrifice the Viking for it.
Yeah, but there's another 2 tanks, another 10 Marines, another Banshee.
It's just too much army supply.
Daishi's holding on. He's definitely holding on. He's got a massive income lead, obviously, because he's got so many SCVs.
But how does he spend it?
How does he stop this attack from happening here? That's the massive problem he's facing.
51 army supply to 21 now.
The starport's going to go down, so he's got to rebuild that.
Yeah. This is getting worse and worse, unfortunately.
It's going to be saved, but the edge forward here.
And here we go. He's actually just going to go straight in for the kill. I mean, that's a bit ambitious considering there were 2 siege tanks sieged up, but again, he's so far up in terms of army supply. He has so much firepower available to him. 4GG knows this matchup to a T. GG, game number 1 goes to the Korean.
Just a great game, perfectly executed from 4GG. Assisted by Daishi, though. The way that Daishi was trying to move out, Daishi was in the mindset of where, okay, I've got this defended, now I can counter.
Yep.
But it was never properly defended because it never had actually stopped. And as soon as he tried to move out, he was caught out of position. He allowed the Hellions to get into the main base. He lost all those SCVs. He got put on the back foot. And then the follow-up came in. And you can see just by the shake of the head that he knows he could have done better.
And this was prime example of the volatility that we see in this matchup from time to time. Unfortunately, Daishi was true victim of that in game number 1. 4GG, though, I mean, he's some kind of oracle. He's some kind of interpreter of TVT who somehow knows exactly what to do at every angle.
But that is one of the most frustrating games to lose as a Terran player because you're like, oh, he's on one base. All I've got to do is just defend it and I'm going to be in a good position. But he was never really able to get into that position where he could hold a certain line or be able to start to edge it back. If the tank was out faster, if he hadn't lost 2 Vikings immediately, if he hadn't have allowed 12 or 14 SCVs to be killed, there's just so many if I hadn't have allowed this. There was about 4 or 5 episodes of that in just that single game.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they're such small things, which makes the whole game frustrating.
Yeah. And again, the numbers are probably weighing a little bit heavy on the guy right now.
Yeah.
Because of how much, and that's 19-0 now. 19-0 in favor of 4GG, who, again, he kind of makes it look pretty easy for himself. He doesn't break a sweat. He just goes into these games and powers along with the aggression and makes it very, very difficult to stop.
Well, what next is, you know, the big question here for Daishi. Does he attempt the same style? Does he want to try to go for a Reaper expansion, play defensive, hope to hold on, and then find himself in a good position? Does he want to take the fight to 4GG and go gas first himself and try to be aggressive and try to, you know, fight fire with fire against 4GG? Because we know 4GG likes his style. It's actually been his style from Brood War days. I mean, he was always the harassment Terran, the aggressive Terran, who would gain a lead and then just kill you that easily. So he's got to be very, very careful with what he chooses in this next map.
All right, game number 2 then. Let's see if our French Terran can bring it back here. As we have, well, spawning up to the top right-hand corner, it is his opponent. Currently 1 game up in the red. It is Millennium's 4GG. And up to the top left-hand corner, our French player in this group, representing Millennium as well. It is Daishi.
Very hopeful for him to be able to do this, as 4GG teasing the stats here. Once again, incoming 20-0.
He knows it as well as we do.
Yes, he does. He just, Daishi can't seem to beat this guy in the tournament. I believe in you, mate. I believe in you.
If there's any mind games that need to be done, I mean, 4GG knows how to do them when it comes to against Daishi.
And to be honest, I mean, I can imagine being 4GG and just saying, I will never let you take a map from me. This is impressive, man. I'm going to make this 30-0, 40-0.
I'm going to ride this to the
I'm going to go
end.
down in history for having the biggest head-to-head win ratio against another player. And it is very impressive, of course. And you can imagine that one. It's like, imagine it like this. You're playing your friend on a simple game, whether it be StarCraft, whether it be Smash Brothers, whether it be Street Fighter, and he can't beat you.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you want to play? Yeah, I can play with you, fine. And then he gets better and better, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to beat me. No way am I going to let him beat me. And then when he does beat you, even though it's like 150,
yeah,
he's like, ha, I finally got you. And it's painful because you're like, I'm 20-0 versus you.
What happened?
So as much as Daishi wants to break this kind of curse, I'm sure 4GG obviously wants to maintain it.
We've had those. We've all had those moments in our lives, especially if you've got like brothers, for example. That's how it's happened from time to time. Yeah. And in essence, I mean, these are 2 Terran brothers from the same team, right?
Yeah.
So fighting against one another, it's quite the thing. Quite the thing.
Daishi's decided to go for take 2. This is build order take 2. Which means he's going to just try the same again and hopefully can make this work. Of course, there is the easier expansion to take here, which means you can wall off. You don't need to have a bunker. You don't need to worry about run-bys. You can actually just wall off with the barracks and supply depot and then just really focus on the drop point, which is going to be the back here. Unfortunately for Daishi, this is a 4-player spawning map, so you can spawn anywhere. And 4GG's landed to the top right, which is a direct line to the second base of Daishi, which means any attack and any drop's going to be fast. 1 boost and you're almost there anyway.
Yeah. And
he will spot this in a second.
Ooh.
As in, Daishi sneaks around here. SCV, anyone? SCV?
What?
Sees gas first again. Sees double gas as well immediately. So he knows it's like a Cloak Banshee, Banshee Widowmine. Nice. Oh, he slows the starport down. That's nice.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's going to die if he's not careful. If he splits these Marines well, going back to the mineral line is difficult to get out.
Daishi's supply block there actually made a bit of a mistake. He missed his supply depot. It should have been squeezed in a little bit earlier there. As you can see, you actually can't build 2 Marines now, which he'd like to be doing. So that's a slight mistake there from Daishi.
I mean, but is 4GG even going to change things up? I think he's just going to go full aggression again.
Yeah, he may do the same.
He's got his double gases whirring away. He's going to
he might go straight to Banshee this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going straight to Banshee. He started to pull in much more gas much earlier on. And there already should have been 2 Marines pushing this back.
Yeah, exactly.
So that supply depot...
he's going to get that SCV.
Is quite annoying here.
Yeah, that slows him down quite a bit.
And I mean,
4GG is basically being like, well, I mean, I know that you've made a mistake coming in here. I'm a Terran. I know that you should have had some Marines out at this point. So capitalize, and they line up the Marines there.
Yeah.
Another Hellions on the way. This could spiral out of control.
This game may just end. There's 2 Hellions, there's a second Hellion, and 3 Marines coming in. He's got to be very careful here.
He's trying to get an SCV up there.
And then the Banshee follow-up, and then there's going to be... It's going to be an expansion for 4GG, but the Banshees are going to come in a couple of seconds.
Trying to get what damage done he can.
Great micro from 4GG.
Micro on both sides in the end as Dacia's trying to clean it up, and the Hellion should be able to do what it needs to.
Yeah, but he's lost so many Marines there that would have assisted in the defense.
And, I mean, he's trying to crank out a Viking now, but eventually Cloak will be on the way, and a second Banshee will be out as well. If he kept working on the Marine numbers, like, that could be nice as well.
He's going to take the natural. If 4GG just goes north now, he actually takes the natural. That turret cannot finish. But he's going straight for the production facilities here. Oh, he's going to catch that turret instead.
Ooh.
And 2 Marines there, easily going to be picked off.
Yeah, work on the numbers, man. Why not?
Oh, he can camp. He does not want to let that turret go down. He's got to try and keep it alive.
Yeah.
Looks like he will get it up.
And even that Viking really helping out. Cloak's about to finish, though. It's about a few seconds off, and he could technically turn around with that, but risk a scan going down. Only a few shots right on top of that would help.
So, I mean, we talked about it a bit before. When you go for an expansion, all you need to do is kill just a couple of SCVs. There's 4 SCVs being killed, and there's already a 5 SCV lead. There's a 20 pretty much supply lead overall because of all the Marines that were lost. And just by a couple of kills here, 4GG is in prime position. His second base is finished. It will be a command center, orbital command, sorry, in a second. And he's still got the capability to kill more SCVs because he still has a Banshee alive.
Yeah, and a second one, I think, is it already out? Is it on the way? I mean, it's okay,
around.
So it's poking around, that's for sure. The other one is actually being repaired back at home.
Not a mule.
Oh, a fresh mule as well. That just landed.
Oh, Daci.
Big blow, big blow.
Yeah. And, you know, there's tanks out already for both. Well, there are for both players. But we are going to see a drop shortly, I think, from 4GG. He's just switched his starport over. And I can imagine there'll be double medivac from that. And he could even drop the natural here. There is a dead space where the natural, the turret natural for Daci cannot reach anything towards the top right there. So that would be a very sweet spot for a couple of tanks and Marines supported by Banshees to drop.
I mean, fresh mules like that did die. I mean, it's one of the big advantages of having a second command center that quickly because you have a little bit more energy on the second orbital command, but having that go down, it's a bit annoying. Daci, though, has been macroing up okay. His army supply now 21 against 18, so looking to pressure in the middle.
Well, Daci gets a free Viking here, and he's also not quite going to get that Banshee, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, he does get it, so
nice
a Viking and a Banshee there. That's like the first proper victory in this series for him. That was a nice pick-off.
Yeah, not too bad. 4GG is going to have to go home because dealing with that kind of army at this point with his measly force isn't going to do too well.
And a decent Viking count here from Daci, and he's in a pretty decent spot here. 3 tanks and 3 Vikings versus just a single tank right now for 4GG. There is an opportunity for him to break through here. Obviously, if Stim completes and Medivacs enter the game shortly, it's going to make a big difference. Throughout all of this, you know the way that Daci has 3 Vikings and has 3 tanks, he doesn't have Stim and he doesn't have Medivacs and he doesn't have this and that, but he does have a force that might be able to break this.
His extra production was slower in the end, right? So 5 Marines on the way anytime against the 2 Marines anytime because the barracks have only just finished up here for Daci. It's kind of important against all of this.
Nice push, nice scan though. Very nice counter scan from 4GG.
Yeah, Viking's going to try and shoot us away. Ooh, a little bit of extra damage happened.
You look at that beautiful counter scan. Daci was trying to get in position, and then 4GG just scans and eliminates the tank that was trying to get there. And that's buying enough time for Stim and Medivacs, which is where 4GG is going to get back into the driving seat a little bit more in this game.
Yeah, Daci doesn't want to be sitting around for too long, that's for sure. As, well, he's looking for a little bit of an alternate route for sort of harassment with landing some Vikings. So at least denying some mining time is a really nice start for here. A few SCVs as well. He's actually evening up the worker loss count, but he's losing all of his Vikings in the process. Was that really worth the few SCVs?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No. And here comes a big drop. I mean, 2 Medivacs full of Marines with Stim. There are this could, I don't want to say it really, but it could kill him. There are just a handful of Marines. There are 3 tanks. He's going to take a lot of SCV damage for sure. And of course, 4GG can always pull off. And there's the sweet spot outside the turret range. And this is nasty. This is.
Yep, denying a lot of mining time. And if he needs to, he can get out faster than the Vikings could have retreated back on the alternate offensive. As he's just going to sit around here, do a little bit of damage, get out. I mean, he's denied quite a bit.
He's going to wait for the tanks to siege up, then just get out.
Yeah.
And decent damage there. The tanks definitely saved Daci for the more important part of the damage to be dealt. But there's going to be another drop here. Oh, Daisy moves out. 4GG's about to move in again, and he might get in there before that turret even completes. Oh, boy.
Oh, and he's bringing tanks this time, so he can solidify this position quite considerably. His army supply in general, 59 against 49, but this isn't the full extent of 4GG's army in it. He's actually just going to chase into these tanks.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, maybe not. He lost quite a few of those Marines. Wants to try and get out of here, maybe, because that's a lot of army that Badeshi's bringing to the table. But the two siege tanks actually traded away against a lot of Marines there.
Yeah, he clears it up. He loses a lot of SCVs in that, but he doesn't... I mean, doesn't die. He's still got quite a few SCVs still around. Did lose a lot. Managed to deal with it okay. But as you can see, Daishi's still 20 supply behind because of that drop. Right now, 4GG doesn't have a massive army, but he's rebuilding up nicely. There's more pressure continuing on.
Never stops, never stops. As you said, it's a hop, skip, and a jump from that location straight over.
That was nasty. Yeah. 6 SCVs got gunned down immediately there.
It never stops. As you said, 23 workers have already been killed from 4GG, and he's just reeling it in, because behind this, he's got a third command center on the way, in location, able to just continue on with his macro.
And his 4GG's going to do it again here. This becomes a little bit weird here, unfortunately, for Daishi, because yes, this drop will happen and it will be successful for 4GG, but Daishi doesn't have that many units here.
Because they're all on the other side of the map trying to do something else with a kind of weird base trade scenario. One of the medevacs actually had some of the units in and did die off quickly, but there's only one siege tank sieged up to really deal with this.
There's not enough for Daishi to make his drop work.
No. The natural has been breached. He's going to lose so much here. And on the other side, as you say, that many units with the reinforcements being churned out here for 4GG, these reinforcements should be able to hold. I mean, it's these 3 siege tanks which are going to deal with it, but as long as he pulls some SCVs, he knows he's doing massive amounts on the other side.
And just like that, unfortunately, Daishi's not going to be able to take a map away from 4GG, and he's looking at a 20-0 here. And 4GG just continues his dominance in this matchup. He's continuing his dominance versus Daishi. 50 supply to 100. Daishi's been cleaned up on the other side of the map. He's got 1 single tank left. Oh my God, says Daishi, because he knows 20-0.
Fine.
GG, congratulations is called. And the game ends just like that. 4GG makes it to the winners match.
GG indeed. 4GG doesn't break a sweat. That's what he does in TVT. Unfortunately for Daishi, he will now fall down to the lower bracket game to play against MC.
He must play against MC to stay alive in this tournament, in this group. But it is 4GG who takes a shot at the winners match, has a shot at the reigning champion as well, where he will face off against Stardust there. But unfortunately for Daishi, the losing streak extends.
Yeah, not the best of times, not the best of starts here for him in this group. But again, we always knew it was going to be a tough group. We always knew his first opponent was going to be a struggle. And unfortunately, falls to 0 here. 4GG looking to move on to play against Stardust. That's going to be a pretty cool clash there.
That's going to be a great series.
Yeah. But we will be having Daishi versus MC next to find out who unfortunately falls out of Group D.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, at the end of the day, was Daishi even thinking about being able to beat 4GG? I just think he really wanted a single map here, and I think a lot of his focus would have been against the Protoss players for today.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult because MC and Stardust are like the top 2 Protoss players. I mean, top 3 along with San that we have in the Premier League, and it's going to be difficult. Obviously, MC or Stardust, depending on who he would have played, are both champions of the Premier League. But, you know, Daishi's always had some tricks up his sleeves, and I think he's just going to go all out for it now after this.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's got nothing to lose at this point. So without further ado, guys, let's head over for an interview with our winner. It's 4GG.
20-0. You said to him on Twitter this morning it's going to be 20-0, and it was. Why are you so horrible to Daishi?
왜 이렇게 대시를 못 사귀거든요.
제가 원래 좀 같은 팀원한테는 라이벌 의식 같은 게 좀 세가지고 같은 팀한테 좀 더 오기가 발생되는 것 같아요.
I think I'm really rough with my teammates. I always think of my teammates as rivals, so that's why.
All right, fair enough. I think we can let you off that one. We know how good you are at TVT, but you've now got to play Stardust. He's the current European champion. How is your TVP recently? How good do you feel about it?
지금 스타더스트가 챔피언인데 TVP가 지금 어떤지 영어로 대답하실래요? 네.
일단 굉장히 잘 만났다고 생각해요. WCS 시즌 2 때 제가 사실 4강전을 준비를 거의 못 해가지고 거의 그냥 지다시피 했는데 이번에는 조가 알다시피 민철이랑 손석희랑 있어서 제가 토스전만 95% 정도로 연습했거든요. 재미있을 것 같아요.
I'm really happy actually to meet Stardust now in my group because last season I couldn't really practice and I didn't really prepare for that match against him. And this time I had MC and Stardust in my group and I practiced like 95% of my practice went into TVP. So I'm really happy to face him now.
All right, well, best of luck against Stardust, and your teammate has to go up against MC. Are you gonna help out Daishi a little bit and give him some words of advice against MC?
이제 MC 상대로 제시가 하는데 팀메이트로서 좀 도와줄 의향이 있는지.
네, 안 그래도 제가 알고 있는 팁 같은 거를 경기 전에 알려줄 생각이에요.
Yes, I will actually give him some tips about my Bulldogs that I know.
Okay, well, very best of luck, and hopefully you get 2 millennium players through, but it's looking a bit hard on right now. 4GG is through to the winners' game. He'll face Stardust. That's coming up a little later on. But next up, it is MC once again in action against Daishi. Can he come back and redeem himself from game one? We'll find out after the break. Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe round of 16, Group D. Our final day of the 2014 World Championship Series Europe season. It has been a terrific 3 seasons throughout 2014, and season 3 has been no different. Tonight has been no different either. 2 very quick games from 4GG. Takes down his teammate in the last game, but Daishi's got another chance now as he goes up against MC. Before we get to that match, we're going to talk to Kalaris in just a moment, but let's check in with the bracket. If you did miss the games earlier on, you missed a bit of a monster PvP, it has to be said. MC versus Stardust was a great game, one for the ages. Stardust coming through as the defending champion. He now takes on 4GG in the upper bracket final for the first place in Group D, the 7th position in our round of 8. The lower bracket now has MC versus Daishi. A quick reminder for you as well, if you are watching right now, tell your friends everywhere. We will be doing the draw for the quarterfinal, the round of 8, at the very end of tonight's show. So you'll find out exactly who's playing who from all of the players who have taken part in round of 16. Kalaris, very, very highly efficient from 4GG.
Yeah, that's how he does TVT. It's pretty good.
Let's move on to the next game, because there is nothing else to say about that game. Daishi now has an opportunity to redeem himself, but it doesn't get any easier. He's now got a former GSL champion, a former WCS Europe champion, man who's won more money in StarCraft 2 than any other player on planet Earth, and he's got to win 2 games against him to go through. So, and that's just to stay in WCS round of 16, never mind get through the round. So this is a tall order for the Frenchman, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's actually got the worst end of the draw, I feel, with having to deal with 4GG in his first round, and now he gets put with, well, he got put with one of the Protoss, right? It's either MC or Stardust. Gets MC. MC is the guy here that is the Protoss with the most ridiculous win rate in this matchup. It's actually his best matchup in 2014, definitively. In WCS, 17-3. The only 3 he's lost to this year in WCS system is...
Wait. I want to build this up. Because hold on to your chairs at home. The only 3 Terrans MC has ever lost to are...
Flash, Tasia, and Innovation in this year in WCS. So he's kind of good in the matchup.
Yeah, he is. He's ridiculously good. Are there any slivers of hope? I mean, I'm stabbing in the dark a little bit, but are there anything that you can see for Daishi to kind of hold on? Does he do something crazy? Does he go some cheese maybe early on? Or does he play for the long game? What does he do?
Slivers of hope is that Daishi can be a wildfire when it comes to this matchup. He sometimes incorporates things that are a little bit interesting, sometimes that aren't exactly everybody's style, aren't everybody's cup of tea, which is cool to watch, definitely. But I don't know. I mean, we use the full package quite a lot, and MC certainly is that in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Map veto's on the way. Let's find out whether we go for a relatively standard set of 3 maps. The most popular, of course, Overgrowth and King Sejong Station, the 2 most picked maps so far in the World Championship Series Season 3. The 3rd most popular is Merry-Go-Round, and Nimbus not far behind it. But Foxtrot, Deadwing and Catalina not being the most popular throughout this season. It's funny, isn't it? Because we introduce these new maps, or Blizzard do, and sometimes it takes a season or 2 for them to come through. I remember me go all the way back to Frost being one of the new maps, and virtually no one played it at all. And then within 3 seasons, it was the most popular match.
Yeah, it became a staple. It did become a staple. That being said, though, with the end of this season comes a whole entirely new, interesting season.
Which has got old maps.
Because we don't have WCS season,
Kalaris.
So why not mess around, I guess?
Kalaris.
Yes.
Ohana means family.
Oh... I wanted Incineration Zone in there.
Really? Oh my goodness! I will be very happy if Habitation comes back, because by the time I'd played that for about 3 months, I was actually very happy with some funky builds on that gold. It was very nice.
There was some interesting ones. Yeah,
some very good stuff for the Terrans. So we've lost Catalina, we've lost Foxtrot, and we've lost Nimbus.
Mm-hmm. Nobody. I'm never surprised if Foxtrot either ends up going away. Nobody really wants to play too much on that. Overgrowth leaving.
Well, I mean, Daishi said he doesn't particularly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So we're not really surprised to see. I think he did veto it against 4GG as well, so maybe not that much of a surprise. Deadwing for MC. Are we going King Sejong or Merry-Go-Round? Okay, so Merry-Go-Round second.
Not surprised too much by that. Again, 3rd base being quite difficult for Protoss to really hold on to. But again, it's MC. He can bring a lot to the table. He is that all-round package. He's the guy that just happily will throw down 2 base and just completely go straight at you. He has a lot of tricks,
Yeah, he certainly does. So it was a nice little hug from the two of them there. It was a friendly hug. You saw Daishi keeping up his spirits at the end of the game. He was, he was taunting 4GG a little bit at the start of the game, all in fun, of course. And then at the end, kind of OMG. It's
got to go with it, man.
20-0. I mean, there's not much more he can do in that scenario, is there, other than sort of bow out with good grace?
Yeah, definitely. And it's always nice to see a little bit of banter between them. And Daishi's a good sport as well, so it's nice to see.
MC, on the other hand, let's talk about him for a little bit, because we haven't really talked about him in this matchup. We just sort of accept that he's going to go through, and that's the way this is going to go. But if he loses this, what does that do to him? I mean, he's through to BlizzCon, so that's safe, that's fine.
Yeah.
But he won't want to go out of WCS Europe at the round of 16 for the first ever time. It's never happened to him before. He's always made at least the round of 8, and that's actually his worst
and that was
result last season.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he won't want to stop that. He'll want to keep going through, and we heard earlier from Apollo saying he's still super motivated. He loves his cash. He wants to make as much money as he possibly can. And should he win this season, he would actually become the first man to win $500,000 in StarCraft 2. He likes those records.
Yeah, he does. He was already setting them way before anybody else, and he'll keep setting them the same way again here. As all in all, it was, there was second place, first place, round of 8, then round of 16. I don't think MC
that's a pattern he will not want to happen, is it? Because you've seen that with some other players where they've, Vortex, for instance, who had that crazy run of, round of 16, round of 8, round of 4, and we were like, oh, okay, so final next, and then he went back to round of 8, and then back to round of 16, so it's gone the opposite way for him. And I know MC not a fan of that pattern, that's for sure.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I don't think it's going to continue. I feel very strongly that the 2 Protoss here are probably going to go through. Even with 4GG looking good in this first series, we haven't seen him run up against Protoss just yet. And the 2 Protoss that are Terran killers.
Just before we go to the commentary team, how's your fantasy team doing?
Pick Stardust. I'm currently around 130, so I'm not doing too badly. There's like 5,000 some people. I'm taking solace in the fact that there's a few people behind me, but Sean's quite a way ahead.
He's doing really well, and the amazing thing is he actually missed 2 matches.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he's only played 24, whereas you could actually have played 26, and I think he would have been top. So he's sort of stuck himself.
I still think he should be top after that one anyway. I found out this morning that he was third. And lovely. Sent him a little bit of a tweet, and he got robbed, man. He got robbed.
He did. Yeah, we'll see how it pans out at the end of the season. If you want to play, you can still play, but there's very limited spaces now and very limited time, of course, because we're at the end of the season. So, unfortunately, it's not really the best time to do it. But if you want to check it out, it's fantasy.eslgaming.com. We are going to head over to the commentary team. Don't forget you can interact with us via all the usual social media channels, but we love to see your tweets, so make sure you use the hashtag #WCS. Time for our lower bracket game. The loser goes home with just an empty pair of hands from the round of 16 and a nice bit of cash. But they're not interested in the money, trust me. They want glory, and MC is the man who wants it all. Let's see if he can make it through to the lower bracket final and the round of 8 with your commentary team of Hasselhobbs and Apollo.
Thank you very much, Red Eye and Claris, and welcome over here to the commentary desk. Okay, first question, I just have to ask it right away. I didn't know. Can Daishi beat MC?
Yes, I would say so.
Why? What does he have inside to be able to do this? Does he have tricks? Does he have the skill?
I think he has
strategy.
The skill. Yeah, he has the skill. When I was talking about the group, somehow I had the feeling that actually Daishi has a better shot against the 2 Korean Protosses than 4GG. Maybe I'm completely wrong with that, but it was just somehow a feeling I had when I was thinking about how the games might go. I think like Daishi has definitely a shot of beating either MC or Stardust. And I mean, his record against none of them is really good, so.
Yeah, and again, 0-2 versus another player here. He played MC at Home Story Cup earlier this year. He played him in group stage, lost 1 game to 2, and then played him again in the semi-finals, which kept away Daishi from the finals. 1 game to 3 in favor of MC.
Bostos is tired.
Bostos is tired. Maybe that can be his weakness here. Maybe. But MC, of course, a champion of the WCS, is a 3-time finalist of the Europe Premier League. Had that one slip-up last season where he finished top 8 Can we even call that a slip-up to finish top 8 in the WCS Premier League? For his standards, maybe we can, but for everyone else, that's a great result, MC. But here we are, game number 1 of the low bracket. One player will be eliminated within the next half an hour or so. Down here to the bottom right-hand side is the red Protoss player. It's MC. Fighting weirdly to say for his tournament life here in the lower bracket against the player up here to the top left. Playing for Team Millennium as the blue Terran player. It's Daishi. So before we get into this, talk to me about Daishi's style, Terran versus Protoss. How does he play it? What does he like? What doesn't he like?
He likes to drop. He likes to doom drop you. He also has very good macro, but sometimes he's slipping up his micro with the Ghost Viking, like the later compositions when you have Bio, Medivac, Ghost Viking. He definitely slips up there. So I think he wants to have an advantage early on.
Yeah.
Maybe in the mid game with drops maybe, or something, some kind of a run by where you drop and attack at the same times. That's where he really excels himself. And MC, I mean, this is Deadwing as the first map, which is a 4-player map. It's very hard to scout each other, and it could be that MC is going to be very, very aggressive as well. Like,
well, that's MC's
wouldn't take it away. Yeah.
kind of tendency, isn't it, to be you know, overly aggressive to some points. I mean, he's been quoted before in past interviews that he's lost games and tournaments because he's overly aggressive and too eager to take fights that weren't in his favor.
CC first.
Yeah, so obviously a good opening here for Daishi to be able to go for that command center very, very early on. Going to be very good for his economy and setup, but he will be scouted easily in this game. He will get spotted before a Marine is out, and MC can start to build a plan here. But MC, what do you think we'll see from MC today? He's used a lot of different strategies over the years and months here, but he's always had one style, which is obviously aggression, control, and just being in your face as a type of player.
I mean, it's almost unpredictable what kind of aggression he's throwing at you. As I said, I think in one of the casts the last days, I remember the game on Merigo, and he was proxying a Stargate, getting 3 Void Rays waiting. I think it was against Flash. Flash was moving out of his base, then the Void Rays flying in, killing every add-on.
Yeah, that's such a weird game.
You never see other Protoss doing it, and if they do, it's not going to work. But for MC, it's working. So it's almost impossible to predict what kind of aggression he will throw at you.
Well, MC's going to poke in here, and we'll see. Obviously, that he's playing against Command Center first, and can start to think a little bit more in depth about what his choices will be for the later part of this game.
Very quick Nexus after he scouted the CC. Before he started anything else, it was the Nexus into the Mothership Core and then a second gas. No Warp Gate, no Stalker, no Sentry yet. So, yeah, he takes the greedy as well. I mean, after you scout the CC first and you didn't have a 1-base planned already, like the setup for a 1-base or any kind of proxy stuff, you can be very greedy as well by yourself. Because the Terran can't really move out for a while.
Well, Daishi's SEV is actually hiding in just anticipation of the Stalker / Mothership Core to be out here. Oh, is he? What the hell is this?
It's a barracks? It's a barracks, right? So
he's adding on another one back at home as well, so he's gone up to a total of 4 barracks
I think
here.
this is TLO against Idra.
Oh my God! Welcome back to 2010, everybody.
Like
this is Zelnaga Caverns here. What is... Whoa, day show.
You know the problem with that? There is a Stargate on the way, and if Daishi walks across the map, it takes him ages to be on the Protoss side, and the Oracle flies over pretty quickly and will kill a lot of SCVs, and Daishi's getting 2 gases with this.
So,
what is the barracks doing over there? Is it... Maybe is it a scout?
No. No.
But do you think he will build Marines out of that?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Tell us, Funka. What is this about?
Observer. Funka.
It is to scout.
It's a scouting barracks.
Wow. Can't believe this. This guy.
Okay. I mean, technically...
MC's like, what?
MC's going to be like, okay.
He thought it's a factory. He was starting the robo right away.
He's like, wait, what? Okay, Daishi. Fair enough. Okay, and Daishi has spotted the Oracle through this, saw the Stargate as well. Is this, I mean, technically this works out cheaper than a mule, surely. I mean, one scan in the middle of the base may not see it, but the barracks is going to see everything for a long time. So
I wanted to point it out as well, yeah. Because Terrans keep keeps saying, scans are so important and so expensive. If I throw one down and I don't see it, I'm so far behind. But Daishi is like, okay, I don't need a scan. I will use the barracks. And it's pretty smart because the Protoss has almost no anti-air in the early game. There's like one Stalker, one Sentry. They don't have the DPS to kill a barracks before it scouted everything. And he saw the Robo and the Stargate.
So brilliant pickup there from Daishi. And he kind of neglects the Oracle here. The Oracle shouldn't really be able to pick up any SCVs in this game. And that's obviously very, very good for Daishi. The Oracle still has other uses, though. Can reveal the army once it moves out, so MC knows the positioning of Daishi's army, where it is at all points, if it's going to pick up by a medivac or not.
Yeah. That's when you want to use the revelation. When the first two medivacs are out and the Terran is pushing across the map, you want to stamp them to see what kind of medivacs or what way the medivacs are going, if they want to drop or just walking around. He also got a very good scout of the factory and the starport, so he knows exactly the timing of these buildings. And what is his follow-up? Yeah, it's just going to be Colossus. He even adds an Immortal in the mix. That's very typical for MC. Even a second one, he loves to do that. Having the very strong firepower of the Immortals in the back of like charge lot, sentries and stuff.
Yeah, he's very fond of his Immortals being added into the mix. And that revelation, unfortunately for Daishi, that single, or that pair of Marines also, 4 of them there, have revealed the extra barracks here. So that's actually a very nice scout from MC. Not only does he have the army, but he also sees the 4th and 5th barracks. And what that indicates to MC is that Daishi is going to be quite aggressive. He's going to be looking for opportunities here, capitalizing on weaknesses or out-of-position Protoss armies. And MC in retaliation decides to throw down additional gateways himself here.
Yeah, it's hard
to
caught someone out of position that is not taking a 3rd Nexus for a while, and that's usually what MC does. He will stay on 2 bases for a while now and pump out a lot of units. And usually this kind of move out that Daishi is doing right now is what MC loves to crush. He's going to crush the army and he's going for a strong counterattack. So Daishi needs to be very, very careful with this.
Yeah, he's got no idea what's really going on at this point. He doesn't know the additional gateways, the army value itself, because there are, like you said, a couple of Immortals in there. There's 5 or 4 sentries with a lot of force fields here. And there's no medivacs. Like a simple mistake from Daishi here, and he stims forward with a single Marine, and that's just enough to say, get out.
Oh, Oracle gets very low there.
Another revelation onto that army, though. There's the eyes of MC. Top of that again.
MC gets nothing but units, no probes for a while. He's moving out with a small force and the probe in addition. Will he be aggressive with that?
I mean, he's got no forges. He's got no 3rd, and he's actually escaped with a probe now to the left-hand side. So is he just, as you said, looking to catch this army, then jump on the other side of the map immediately? Or does he have maybe intention to just maybe slowing the game down for now and then looking for an expansion later? But
he's taking an aggressive position on the map already, and because he was able to use revelation on the army, he knows exactly where the Terran is right now, and he is keeping track of the medivacs, which is also important if you move out that early in the phase.
Well, and no Vikings at all. I mean, there's 6 medivacs.
He's actually sneaking around. Now they see each other. Daishi should go for it. Stim and go for it. Or load in and go for it.
Oh my gosh, MC's just going to go for this attack here on the other side. There is nothing on the other side for MC.
Daishi, go.
Daishi, what are you doing, man?
Don't be AFK with your army in the middle of the map.
Okay, he's coming back. He is coming back. But right now, there's no bunkers. There's a couple of Widow Mines. There is no Observer, so maybe these Widow Mines could get some damage done. But MC's going to walk forward here. One Stalker gets shut down immediately on that left-hand side from the Marauders. And Daishi's main force right behind this. The Mothership Core spots it and is dead instantly.
So there's no
MC's going to be very careful here. If he loses his entire army, 2 forces on the left-hand side, 3, 4, 5 down to the bottom. And this looks pretty decently set up for MC for the first part of it. But how long until everything in the front gets blown up?
The Widow Mines are close, and they are getting actually the shot of the Immortals exploding. Only the Colossus are alive. And because MC lost the Mothership Core, there was no time warp or recall.
26 SCVs were killed in that, but MC lost his entire army.
There's the 3rd CC, though.
29 workers to 47. Another Colossus is out. There's only a single Viking currently with this. And obviously off the back of all these gateways.
Yeah, and 1-1 upgrades. Funka pointing it out there. MC is still lacking the forges. He's getting a Twilight Council now, but he's down 2 upgrades. I think there's a single Colossus at his natural, and he's warping in a few sentries. He needs Blink or Charge. And Daishi is playing a beautiful follow-up. He's He's on track of his upgrades. He's getting +2 attack right now. His 3rd CC will be able to drop mules and triple SCV production. So he will eventually catch up in the economy.
No observer means these Widowmines can plant themselves nicely at the front here. And there comes the attack from MC, the defense more so from MC. And he does clean up the front line.
Good shot there.
Widowmine, yeah, brings 5 or 6 of those Zealots down to the yellow hit points. But the defense is good enough here. I mean, he can't really get to the Colossus. There's 2 of them, and there's no Vikings.
Yeah, I would even argue that Daishi doesn't need to be too aggressive right now.
Yeah.
He's in a solid position. 2-2 on the way. Against someone who doesn't have a single forge, just stick around with your medivacs. If the Protoss moves off, you fly in.
But can he identify that, though? I mean, like we've said before, it's easy for a commentator to be able to say this for Daishi.
So far, he didn't see anything, but he has... I mean, he cleaned up the whole army, and usually if the Terran cleans up the whole army and has a 3rd CC behind it, they should feel in a at least decent position, I would say. And he's checking the upgrades. I mean, every good player does that. They are clicking on the units and see, hey, it's still 0-0.
This is good. This is, I mean, can be very, very good here for Daishi. The only thing that can, you know, present a threat here is the Colossus, but if he has enough Vikings. And currently he's at 3, and he has, you know, the possibility to be building 4 here at a time, as we can see. So 4 at a time, you push yourself up to 12, maybe 16 if you want to make sure for sure that you get rid of these. 3rd base coming in for Daishi, and he has decided to put on the brakes, and I think he may have identified the position he's in.
MC right now ahead 20 supply, and that's so typical for him as well. Such a late 3rd Nexus at minute 16, and the forges as well. This is like whenever we try to analyze MC's style, it's so hard to make it work. It's only a single forge, by the way, so far.
Yeah, this clear opportunity for a timing from Daishi.
Yeah, definitely.
Once 2-2 hits, just good Viking count, 2-2 upgrades, and give it a good whack.
Maybe even pulling the SCVs. That's a tough decision you have to make, but 2-2 with, as you mentioned, around 12 to 16 Vikings is an extremely strong army, and if you have the buffer of the SCVs, you might be able to kill the Protoss right away.
What do you think about the high Zealot count here from MC? It's 26.
That's nice. That's very nice for him. Does he have charge, though? Is it ready?
It's on the way.
It's on the way, so...
But likewise, is Daishi, who's completed +2 attack and a blink forward there. And the fight's going to take place in the middle of the map here. The Colossus are getting tugged down immediately from these Viking, but there are a lot of Zealots right now. If only they had that charge upgraders. Daishi has to kite backwards, and out of 3 Colossus that were there, against 8 or so Vikings, 2 of them still survive, and Daishi's being chased back, and with Zealot charge on the way, a couple of units getting tagged on the other side of the map as well, unfortunately, but MC's chasing him down.
And even +3 attack started for Daishi. He needs to be careful that he doesn't spend too much into his upgrades, but I would think it's a fine, especially after the scan now. He knows exactly where he's at. Just build more units and make sure you're in a good position, because the fight he took wasn't perfect, especially because the Vikings were spreading their fire onto 2 different Colossus. One of them were fallen, but the other one was still alive.
Charge is about to finish up here for MC in about 30 seconds time, but Daishi still has 2 upgrades. He's got a pretty decent defensive position up on the high ground. He's more exposed and vulnerable down here on the low grounds.
Don't move out.
And he goes for the Mothership Core immediately. Oh! Just about gets away. A couple of rocket fires.
The rockets are following the Mothership. Do they still land? I don't know. No, it doesn't look like it.
And MC finds himself allowed to complete 1 armor upgrade in a couple of seconds here, but Daishi still with a clear opportunity to win this game, surprisingly, to a lot of people watching this one, expecting Daishi to be the clear favorite for last in this group.
And just now, minute 19, MC finished his first set of upgrade, and that's the army one. Daishi with a huge control mistake on his
2
Vikings.
Third one almost gone.
As I mentioned earlier, sometimes he slips with his micro there. 2 Vikings for free, the 3rd one is very damaged, and he needs every single Viking to kill the Colossus right now.
Yeah, MC's army is really, really big. He's got a lot of Zealots, and they're all charged up. 3 drops to the main base, though. MC's not expecting this. He's expecting the frontal attack here, as we've been describing for the majority of this. We will be surprised as the drop enters his main base. The Forge is exposed. Getting that +2 armor is going to be pretty big here. It's going to get turned off.
And the Templar Archives, more importantly, both structures should fall here if Daishi does focus fire correctly. And there we go.
Great pickup there by Daishi. MC was not expecting that. And also a frontal attack here is going to take shape on this 3rd expansion for MC, and the Colossus will get tugged down, but still they don't die so fast. 3 more Vikings come in, one of them goes down. Is Daishi going to do this? He's got a supply lead right now. He's splitting his units. I don't understand how these Colossus keep on surviving in these fights, but another one survives, dealing out so much damage here. but MC is down in supply. The upgrades are superior. The last Colossus will go down. And Daishi's dropping from the main base to the National. He's broken the third. He's pushing up to the third right now. And Daishi, against all odds in this group, is looking at taking the map #1 away.
MC has so much units, but they are pretty much...
They're just not good.
Not useless, but they're not good enough right now to fight against the Terran because he's only on 1 armor. He lost every single important tech structure. He can't even warp in Stalkers anymore because the Cyber Core did fall.
He's lost the Templar Archives, he's lost robotic facilities, simply on Zealot production.
Yeah.
Just Zealots.
Yeah. And Zealots won't cut it at all at this point anymore.
Yeah.
Daishi has to be a little bit careful with the army in the middle of the map, I believe, because everything is pretty injured, but obviously there are no Blink Stalkers, so he can't be chased down, so I believe it's okay to sit there for now.
And to stim forward to the third base here, a couple of units left here, but with +3 attack on this Bioforce, they deal out so much damage here. And this isn't even the main army of Daishi, this is just what's left over from the previous fight. The main army's charging through the center of the map right now, and as you can see, Daishi's kiting excellently against these Zealots. He's wearing them down one by one, and MC's about to drop below 100 supply here. And with Daishi's reinforcements of the main army coming his way, Daishi's going to take map #1 here. This is such a big win for him, and it's a good confidence boost because it simply tells him, actually, I can do this. I can actually compete in this group.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. I was thinking that he has definitely a shot against MC or Stardust, and he's showing a really good game here. Just some small mistakes by him, and I have to say, after the very first attack of MC, I think he was pretty far behind. I mean, as a Protoss, losing all the important gas units, Sentries, Colossus, Stalkers, not having the Mothership Core in the fight for either Time Warp or a recall. And he's oh my god.
He's calling down mules against the Season 1 champion, against the boss toss here. And he's got to drop inside the main base. He knows his game's over. He's saying, get out, GG. Daishi takes map #1.
Do you want to make the
MC?
Do you want to make the boss toss angry in the first map?
I know. I was that was like traditionally there. You'd be like, "Whoa, yeah, that's so epic!" He's calling that. You'd be like, "Oh my god, he just did that versus MC."
He's going to show the second and third map no mercy at all after this mule drop in the end.
And 4GG goes over there and just says, "Bloody hell, mate, well done."
Yeah, well done.
Well done, brilliant game. Hopefully, continue this in the next one. And of course, probably saying a couple of mistakes as you highlighted out for sure. Currently likes to, feel in his face a little bit. I guess he is looking a little bit red.
I think he's pretty warm right now.
Yeah.
Like the lights and the stress and the headset.
And the fact that he just called down mules against the boss toss.
But yeah, so once he decided to drop with 3 medevacs and attack at the same time, that's exactly what I was pointing out. He knows how to do that stuff, and MC was totally out of position in the main base. He was sending back a lot of Zealots and Archons, but by the time they arrived, the Forge was gone, the Twilight Council, the Cyber Core, the Templar Archives, everything was basically dead already, so there wasn't really that much to save anymore, while he was also kind of falling apart at this third. I mean, he defended the attack for a while, but just didn't have the reinforcements anymore.
Wow, what a game to start us off here in the lower bracket between these two. Is Deschaux, as they call him in France, going to be able to pull this one off? It would be a massive, massive result, of course. I mean, to be fair, Deschaux had his fair share of results this year. And he's played some excellent series, whether they've been wins or losses. He beat Armani at Home Story Cup. He also went on to beat Bomber in the quarterfinals at Home Story Cup, 3 games to 2. A massive, massive record there for Daishi to be able to do that. And MC's, of course, had his fair share of losses over the years, but this one would stand out. Round of 16, if he was getting eliminated here. Round of 8 last season, round of 16 this one. And to lose here to Daishi, I don't think he would like that on his record. But anyway, we'll see. Down here to the bottom left-hand side is the red Protoss player. It's MC. The Season 1 champion of this year, 2-time second place last year in Season 2 and Season 3. Up here to the top right-hand side, who's never been to the round of 8 before, as the blue Terran player playing for Team Millennium. It's Daishi. And this is a decent second map here to land on when you 1-0 up against MC.
It was his pick, right? I think
it was,
MC picked Deadwing, and then it was followed up by Daishi on Merry-Go. And the third map, don't get me wrong, I think it's King Sejong, right? Yeah.
And funny enough, because we landed on this map because Daishi vetoed out Overgrowth instead of Deadwing here.
For the second time. In the first best of 3, he also did that. So he really likes, or he dislikes Overgrowth, it seems. So MC scouting quite early once again after the 13 gateway. On Marigo, you want to find out if they take the gas, if it's 1 reg CC, something like this. CC4 first, like on the last map, you really want to know what you're up against, especially if you're down 1-0. And he will find it out very quickly because he's going through the right way. And we'll see the gas, obviously.
And what's the first couple of things that MC is going to be thinking about here? Is he going to be like, God, you tried to finish this one early, didn't you? Or is he like, all right, that's fine, you're going to do this. My response is going to be this.
I mean, first of all, you know it's going to be a Reaper, right? And then you have to kind of figure out if they want to follow it up with a factory. So maybe you try to hide the probe somewhere around the Terran base, try to drive in once more, or you just be careful anyways, get your robo at the standard timing. Yeah, that's the things you wanna do at least.
Okay.
So he gets the Zealot right now because he saw the SCV leaving. He's a little bit afraid of an eBay block.
And Daishi has pulled a couple of guys out of gas now as well, so the command center will go down. And Reactor, and of course, the focus on mineral income for those extra barracks here.
Yeah.
Is MC going to play a trick here? I mean, play a trick. Obviously, can be a very open question there. But do you think he plays a Stargate or Twilight Council? Does he just play very standard with the robotics facility? I mean, MC is, like you said, capable of anything here.
The Stargate had almost no effect on last game, right? The Oracle was shut down pretty early on, and with Revelation, he wasn't really able to catch the army of Daishi, even though he knew exactly where it was, but he didn't have Blink, so it's very hard to chase down the Terran army with the Afterburner and Stimpack. They can run away if they want to, so didn't really help him too much. So I believe we don't see a Stargate again, I would call it, but maybe Blink, because MC has he's very decisive with his Blink attacks. And on merry-go-round, you can definitely make it work. And he gets the second scout with his probe, which is so important for him right now.
Yeah, knows the difference between the barracks or factory follow-up here. Obviously, factory requiring observers or some form of detection, of course, if there's going to be Widowmine play, or just units if it's going to be Hellion play, or whatever the case. He knows that it's just going to be regular barracks play. So the only thing on MC's mind right now is, obviously, where is that Reaper? Is it going to poke in again? But secondly, okay, there could be a push out, but not soon.
So there is the Twilight Council, and I think we will see Blink. It's not the fastest Twilight Council. He delayed it for a little bit to get the second Stalker out first, to deny the Reaper Scout, which actually jumps in right now, but will be denied. Good job there by MC, and a little bit unlucky for Daishi. Not getting any information right now. Seeing the second Stalker doesn't help you at all, because if the Protoss plays 100% safe, they get 3 Stalkers anyways. So, will he drop a scan is the question once he has the 50 energy. Actually, he has a scan in the natural right now if he wants to. Could use it, and there we go. What does he see?
Always misses it. Misses it.
Just on the edge.
Misses it.
Oh no. Blink starts.
1 pixel to the left. He would have spotted it there, and very unfortunate there.
And the Stalkers are actually... Where are the units? They're all in the main base.
Ooh.
Preparing for a Stargate there.
1 SCV.
MC's a little bit careful, just in case they have concussive shell, these Marauders.
1 SCV, though, better than 0 SCVs. And now Blink, a couple of extra gateways here. So total of 3.
Will it be a full commitment? Will it be 6 or 7 gates? He's on 4 right now. How much eco does he still produce is the question. He's still getting 2 probes at a time, but there's the possibility that he stops probe production and adds a few more gateways behind his natural, for example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's seen that there's no bunker. He knows that Daishi's playing kind of overall safe because of units in the main base of Oracle, per se.
That's a very good point. There is no bunker, and I have, like, 4GG should have a word with him after this. If he dies to any kind of attacks now, because not having a bunker at the natural is, you don't play like that. Not against MC. Against a Protoss that likes to be so aggressive, that's just a risk you shouldn't take. It's just going to be 4 gates, though, so...
The units are very spread apart from each other, though, for Daishi. There's 6 Marines on the main base and 2 Marauders. Then there's just the 3 at the front. And Blink is not very far away from finishing. 3 extra Stalkers coming in here. Stim is 30 seconds, but this attack will take place before that. But fair play to Daishi. He's got a lot of units out.
Yeah, he built a lot of units, yeah. I mean, it was 3 wrecks before the factory. MC did scout that, and they were
MC
actually...
lost the Stalker there straight away.
Link was not finished yet. Good time warp, though. Beautiful time warp, actually. He's getting such a good surface area. Has to be careful, though. A lot of Marauders in the mix.
Yeah, a lot of Marauders and a lot of Stalkers all going down here. Pretty decent micro from Daishi, kind of targeting down these weak ones, but their stim completes as well, and MC's army's gone just like that. There was, you know, a good 12 Stalkers and even more going down.
Oh my god. Even with a very good time warp, MC kind of misread the situation and kept fighting.
Of course, Daishi did lose a lot of units there himself. He isn't on top of building the starporters. He's just trying to get Widow Mines out not to die to this. A bunker's being made, 2 bunkers. There are 2 Marauders and a couple of Marines here, so he's going to have to pull some SCVs to help buffer a little bit for this, I would imagine.
I bet MC would have loved to maintain a few more Stalkers after the very first engagement. Was a little bit over-eager there. I think there was a time where he could pull a little bit back, wait for the next warp in, and then chase down the Terran army. Now, Daishi has the time to get up the bunker, and MC is already throwing down a robo, getting sentries at home, and that's usually the signature of, okay, I'm not going to kill you anymore. Obviously, the Terran doesn't know, but MC's eco behind this is pretty good as well. It's 50 against 40 right now.
Good economy from MC, but he needs time. I mean, if we were to see Daishi push out very shortly here, the medivacs are not that far away from entering this game. Currently, MC has 2 sentries, 2 zealots, and no stalkers left over. He does have a photon overcharge, I guess. Does he try to squeeze out an immortal now to make sure he is safe against a push out?
I think Observer into immortal, given that it's MC. The Forge is in a very weird position, though. If the Terran actually pokes up the ramp, might be able to snipe it rather early. Robo Bay is on the way as well, so will be kind of similar style from what we saw as a follow-up as on the first map. The very fast 3rd Nexus. That's interesting, given that he almost has no units on the map, as you mentioned. If the medivacs are going over right now.
They're on their way here, and there is no observer. I mean, no immortal. It was the 2nd observer.
Okay.
First pylon's going to come down here for MC. He's building 2 more at home now.
It's going to be supply blocked for just a little bit, but the pylons are finishing. Okay, good job there.
Very risky with this 3rd Nexus. Obviously, this is going to have massive rewards if it stays alive in this game and MC's able to hold on for the next 5 or so minutes, but Daishi's got a lot of units. Daishi's moving down. The first Colossus is in production. Bear in mind, there will be no Thermal Lance for it, so it could get targeted down quite easily by these Marauders. And MC is going to pick up the Widow Mine nice and easy at the front there.
You have to scout the 3rd, though, Daishi. There has to be 1 Marine to make sure that you see it.
A lot of units there. He sees.
He has to kill the 3rd Nexus. He can't break him right now. MC has too much army.
Oh, he's going to load. And there's not top of an observer here. Remember, Blink is ready. MC is not on top of his game here. He didn't blink in immediately. A little bit late to the reactions there for MC. Definitely could have moved up and deflected that a little bit easier. He's got to be careful, though. Blink is still available on these medivacs. Targets down 1, jumps on the other, and that... He's actually going to get away there, but he cancels the 3rd at the same time, so... Decent plays, but it could have gone worse for Daishi for sure.
Yeah, the 3rd CC is up behind this. Daishi is getting... I think it's the first upgrade. It's +1. Same for MC. MC is actually getting attack before armor here. Don't see that too often for a Protoss. Has to get out of the supply block 3 additional pylons and just building more and more units. Very typical for them as well. Getting a huge army, 3 additional sentries, for example. You don't see that too often in the later stages of PvT. And Daishi, well, I think he should slow down a little bit, because he knows there's Colossus with Thermal Lance, there are Blink Stalkers, there's no reason. You just cancel the 3rd, take it easy, take your own 3rd, maybe try to scan for the observers, try to blind the Protoss a little bit on the map, and then try to get a lead with your upgrades, for example.
Do you reckon he decides to pull SCVs in this game?
Could be, yeah, could be a possibility. There's no 2nd eBay or armory yet.
Yeah. I mean, he was a little bit late starting his Boston armor because he was a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, I guess we'll have to keep tracks on that. He has a look, sees 2 Colossus and a lot of Zealots again.
No, you can't stim in there. Watch out. That's very, very dangerous. So many force fields available for MC.
And MC cuts off that left-hand side and takes the attack to the frontal one. And as you said, maybe not the best of fights there for Daishi. He's going to have to back off, but he will get tracked by these Blink Stalkers. And Daishi's still fighting, though, trying to dance off the edge of the Thermal Lance here for these Colossus. And there is the blink forward here, and MC's going to punish this movement out for sure. And as you can see, already a supply advantage in favor for the boss toss.
The next blink will probably snipe down 2 or 3 medivacs, I believe, if MC is going for it. Actually, yeah, just a single one. He was focusing them very, very late, but
MC's going for this now. She lost a lot there, and that wasn't the the best of attacks for him.
He's chasing the Medivacs on the left side. Few Stalkers. Cooldown is ready, and he's getting a second Medivac. Ah! Actually, they all survived with 1 HP.
He tried to get all of them, but in the end got 0 there. But of course, the Colossus is a big, big threat here. There's no Vikings in this game. Marauders stim right to their death there. The Colossus bring these down immediately. There's 3 Colossus. There's no Vikings. There's 2 on that right-hand side, but there are still Blink Stalkers. No bunkers, minimal units, and Daishi with 1 single attack activates the tenacity of the boss toss, which is just to counter whenever possible. We know that MC has the eye of the tiger when it comes to these type of scenarios, and he's going to go for it right now. And this is going to be a very difficult hold here for the Frenchman. And MC capitalizes on a mistake here from Daishi. And MC is going to walk over this attack. He's just got to target down those Vikings, and these Colossus will live forever. A little bit slow on the target fire there, but still 2 Colossus survive, and Daishi drops to 60 supply, and just like that, MC turns it around.
A very strong performance by the boss toss. Getting... Actually, he didn't caught him out of position. Daishi wanted to fight him. He was spreading his army in the middle of the map and took the fight. He was stimming in, and MC like, okay, come at me, bro. I'm going to crush your army, and I'm going to end the game right after. So definitely not the right call there to go for a fight. But I mean, sometimes it's the right call. If MC, for example, didn't warp in 3 additional sentries, maybe you get close enough to get towards the Colossus, and maybe you snipe down one. Then the Protoss can't go for a counter. But in this scenario, just didn't work out, and yeah, MC equalizing the score here.
As MC knew would happen after that mule drop.
Yeah, he was angry. Like,
what do you think about MC's games today? You know, against Stardust and Daishi, in comparison to what you normally see of MC. Are they?
I definitely saw him stronger.
A little bit weaker.
A little bit weaker, I would say. It's not that he plays bad, not at all. But I think we all saw a stronger MC, like also in this year already, several times. I don't know if he's a bit tired or.
You know, MC's
very stressed.
The last event he attended was the Interstream Masters Toronto roughly 3 weeks ago, and since that time just been at home. Didn't go to DreamHack Moscow recently.
Yeah.
You know, played Flash, won, lost versus Life, then lost versus Flash. That was the last time that MC, you know, traveled. So he hasn't been anywhere recently.
So he had a lot of time.
And he also played the last group of the round of 32 as well. Was right at the end there, so played that roughly a week or so ago. But he's had a bit of time here. Daishi, likewise, hasn't really been up to that much recently himself.
I mean, on the other hand, it's hard to say he looked bad. I mean, against Stardust, it came down to 1 single observer that it was in the control group, so it was flying like forward instead of like being behind this army. So it's hard to judge. But I think I saw him stronger already.
All right, the last map here. The loser of this single game on King Sejong Station will be eliminated from the round of 16 here. Up here to the top left is the red Protoss player. It's none other than our Season 1 champion of earlier this year, MC. I was not going to say round of 32. I definitely wasn't.
Not at all.
Not at all. And then down here to the bottom right-hand side, the blue Terran player, hailing from France, playing for Team Millennium, it's Daishi.
And yeah, the second game, MC didn't forget about his mothership core at all. It was always around when he needed it for photon overcharge. He used 2 time warps in the very last fight. That maybe would have made the difference on the Deadwing game, having the mothership core either to retreat or to drop the time warps to take the fight in a little bit better position. He's dropping the gateway to block off the Reaper, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, obviously in the later stages of the game with Medivacs, it's very easy for Terran to pick off the pylon and the gateway from the low ground. But for the early game, it's definitely a good thing.
Would you say this map is very Blink friendly? Blink openers?
Yeah, obviously. Blink is very good on this, yeah.
Could that push Daishi into playing Factory this game to try and attempt Widowmine play or Hellion play before Blink can actually get working?
Definitely, yeah.
Especially considering he's played, you know, Barracks play for both other games here.
Definitely, that's definitely a choice, yeah. I was when I was talking to Walmu yesterday, he told me that King Sejong is he still thinks it's a very, very good Blink map. and it's hard for Terran to defend. You can do a lot of things. He was mentioning, for example, you attack the rocks with a few Stalkers and then you run around with the others and try to jump in from the other side. Things like that. So it's definitely a possibility, but I mean, Daishi had a lot of units when the blink attack came, and I believe if he has one bunker on the low ground and one bunker on the high ground, and he waits a little bit longer, maybe for the medivacs, he's in a good position.
Second Reaper.
Oh, and he blocks it. He blocks it. And this is going to be very annoying, especially with the second Reaper on the way.
And the probe's going to go in on the other side of the map for a follow-up scout as well while this is going on, and even gets a lot more hit points built there. The Reaper's coming in. Maybe he can get the probe kill there. Would be nice.
Mothership 4 is on the way. He has to be quick, though. He wants to chase away the Zealot at first. The second Reaper, I wonder...
It's going to get the probe there at the back.
Yeah, that's for sure.
MC didn't click. I was actually watching MC. He didn't click on the gas to see how much gas had actually been mined. He knew that there was obviously 2 Reapers, but didn't know anything more than that. We do see a reactor coming in off the back of this. An extra barracks being added on. Reaper going to jump out. Put 2 Reapers here. Be a bit of a nuisance. Going to make sure he can spot what MC's up to.
If he even drops a Nexus.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, there's still no Nexus on the natural. It was delayed for quite a while.
5-minute Nexus here.
There we see it finally.
Double Reaper action. One of them goes down, and the other's going to get in to have a quick look, and not really going to see anything
They
here,
were both fall, yeah. No, that was too early.
Yeah.
That was way too early scouted here for Daishi. There was... should have waited like 30 seconds longer, so you either can verify is there a tech building, or maybe even both, like Nexus into tech building is what you could verify with 2 Reapers 30 seconds later. Right now, the only thing you could have scouted is, I don't know, like the lack of Nexus and maybe additional gateways, or yeah, a single tech structure in the back of his base. But yeah.
MC having a look on the left flank here in case there was a factory or something down there. Doesn't want to lose 20 easy builds coming out from Daishi. Won't see anything though.
We saw MMA, I believe, was doing it in the round of 16 here.
Yeah, and especially with 4GG and Daishi's ears, I'm sure MC is going to be thinking about potential 4GG builds that could have been passed down here.
Yeah, that's true.
Double Tech Labs here, double Marauder production. Stim now started as well. Units waypointed to the mirror line in protection of an Oracle, of course.
It's the same build order for Daishi. He wants to be, once again, very, very aggressive with Stimpack. 3 barracks before factory, before starport. As you mentioned, 2 tech labs, so double Marauder production with a single reactor for the Marines. So he's going to be very, very aggressive once again. And MC splitting his units a little bit, a few Stalkers in the main, a few at the natural, just in case if there's a Widow Mine drop. So he's in position.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, you know, the intensity that Coach Real is going to be going through now, knowing that a map loss here would eliminate MC in the round of 16. So MC goes in as a quick scout, sees a bunker this time, an adaptation from the previous game for Daishi.
So what is this kind of agreement? Like, they don't kill each other anymore? The probe is sitting there and the Terran's like, okay.
Don't zap me.
Oh. Got too close to the bunker there. He saw quite a lot of Marauders. He saw 1 Marauder chasing the probe, and 2 Marauders shooting out of the bunker. So I think if it made click for him that there are 3 barracks before anything else, could definitely be. He's adding up a Twilight Council in the Forge way earlier than the games we saw before, especially the Forge.
Yeah. And what are we going to see from MC here then? So he's going to start to add on extra gateways. Blink. No robotics bay
How many sentries?
yet at all. So he's going to be relying on units once again, which seems to be MC's favored style and choices here. He just likes to have a lot of stuff. But we are going to see Daishi move out now. And he's got a decent amount of units, man.
But is this going to be successful? There's an Immortal on the way. We have 3 sentries and 200 energy on the Mothership core. So Time Warp plus Photon Cannon will be available. I don't know if that is going to work out for Daishi.
Well, MC has a good scout on this, of course, the Observer. 1 Stim Marine forward. And that gets picked off immediately here. MC backs off, Photon Overcharge down, and Daishi goes for a forward stim here. Targets down 1 of the sentries, actually backs off behind the force fields here. Very nice for him. And he stims forward to get the other sentry. And that's a pretty good start for him. 2 probes as well. And he took down 2 sentries, a Zealot, and 2 probes, then backs off. Nice dancing in and out of those force fields, and nice movement forward to pick off another unit or 2.
Yeah, yesterday we saw a similar attack on Overgrowth between MMA and Mana, and MMA was able to snipe down the Nexus because of the lack of sentries, I believe, and Mana was engaging pretty slowly against the Force, while MC had a perfect scout and obviously good force fields, and he knew exactly that the Nexus is not in danger here.
Yeah,
he's adding 4 gateways.
It's a lot, and a Warp Prism coming in too. Funny thing is there, I mean, a couple of seconds later, you know, if the force fields trap those units, the Immortals there, these units were dead, man. So
that's true.
It was a very tense moment there for Daishi, and he did all right for himself.
Okay, so MC is getting a Warp Prism and Templar Archives behind this. He starts charge right away when Blink is finished. He almost has no Blink Stalkers on the maps, only 4 right now. So the Warp Prism with charge, if Daishi is out of position, will be able to do a lot of damage. But first of all, MC has to defend here.
Daishi, yeah, he's going to challenge these 2 Immortals, I think. He had a scan and move forward towards this. He has a quick look at that third base. Sees no third base. MC does have Blink, though, so Daishi's got to be very careful of mistakes here because he will get punished once again like previous. He pokes forward, doesn't stim his units, doesn't lose a unit, tickles the Assimilator, then backs off. But there is that Warp Prism swinging around here, and Daishi's overly aggressive stance is going to prove to be a problem here.
The Archon drop!
Not again!
Sun! It was Sun, right? Sun was doing it. The Archon drop.
But Daishi is on his return back, and it is going to be the Archon double Zealot drop. As we've seen this once already in this round of 16.
Oh man, you better make sure that the Warp Prism doesn't die, MC, because that's an expensive one right now. Even saving the Archon is very important from what I saw when Sun was playing it. It's definitely playing with fire.
Well, MC's going to move out, take his third now. The Observer inside the main base does see the double starport.
Daishi is extremely scared. He's getting the triple bunker and the Ghost Academy. He's sitting on 2 bases. He's not saturating his third right now. He's afraid of an attack.
Yeah. He's got good map vision, fair play. He could have better map vision if the Marines actually took the Xel'Naga towers here.
Yeah.
They've decided not to.
Yeah.
He'd had better map vision there. Probably could have, well, maybe he spotted the Warp Prism, but he's under no threat right now. That Warp Prism patiently waiting to pounce for a good strike.
He's waiting for Daishi to move out.
Does MC's composition work, though, against Widow Mines and Ghosts already been added in?
When I play it, no. When MC plays it, it will work. But no, actually, I wonder as well. For me, it doesn't work to play like this anymore when the Terran understood what you are doing. And the Warp Prism is flying in right now. There are not that many SCVs at the third. So the Archon...
Zealots and Daishi's being pulled back here by MC. And here comes the Archon drop. And Daishi's like, you are joking me.
Oh, the Widow Mine. Oh, it's actually... Can it target down the Warp Prism?
Oh, one hit on it. It is low, but it is going to escape. Archon, 5 kills.
Oh, and MC's complete army is going back for this. This is so annoying for him.
14 kills in this.
Yeah. You know what happened? The second Widow Mine shot actually got a lot of splash on the SCVs, so every single Archon shot killed like 1 or 2 SCVs.
What a simple maneuver there, but it's worked wonders. There's a lot of SCVs slaughtered on that third base, a lot of lack of mining time, 14 SCVs in casualty here. And now MC's built up a pretty decent-sized force tier. He has Storm in this mix. He has 2 Storms available.
Yeah, it's not that much, though. 2 Storms is nothing if you face a Terran with...
Widow Mines, Ghosts.
Ghost and Scan, for example, if he... Obviously, that's if the Terran gets a good engagement.
MC knows exactly where this army is. He sees with his observers. He's going to try and take the best opportunity here, and the best fight he could possibly take. And he goes for it. Well, half the army isn't there, and he breaks into the first half of this army, and then decides to pull back as the rest of Daishi's army comes. And 1 good EMP right now.
He has no MP. He has no energy for it. He has to use Snipe, though. He's running into one of the Storms there, but he's getting the second High Templar.
1 High Templar down. There are no Storms right now, and Daishi's chasing this. There's only Immortals here. Obviously, Immortals are very, very good here. Force fields are pretty good as well. Just kind of escape here, but where does MC go? Daishi's going to drop onto the natural here. The Demolition Core's there.
He has to he needs to bring his units.
He's so far out of position. He's got to break down this debris at the back there. He's going to take a lot of losses to his probe line.
Oh my god, this is insane. This move by Daishi is actually probably winning him the game, or at least dealing so much damage. And
the Immortals are still stuck on the outside here.
Yeah.
And there is a couple of Storms coming to help defend, though. They need to land onto this army. Daishi's got to dance his way around. And he misses that Storm, really. Gets a bit of a...
There's 1 or 2 more Storms. Actually, he didn't deal that much damage. I'm really surprised. His focus fire was not on top there. I was expecting either the Robo or maybe one of the Nexus falling.
But Daishi's got his infrastructure really working well back at home. He's at a decent supply. He's got a lot of units. He's got 2-2 on the way, but Very surprisingly, MC doesn't take that much damage there, despite that really ballsy move. When is the time for Colossus? When?
It is time, I'd say.
These EMPs are going to shred everything. There's so many of them now.
Man,
how many are we talking? Okay, I say that. There's only one ghost, so maybe not.
Yeah.
I thought the'd be a lot more than
he's
that.
adding 3 more, and that's actually maybe the time MC needs to get more High Templars on the map, more cannons, to be safe against any kind of aggression here from Daishi. Daishi's ahead, only 10 supply. He's a little bit supply block right now. He has to wait for his depots and his CC to finish. And I really think he should have or could have used this opportunity to kill a bit more, maybe even flying over to the third. There was no defense at all.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not that easy as a player. Flying in like this. It's not happening every day.
He's got to be very careful here. He's got dropped to the left-hand side. It has been spotted. Double cannons on there to prevent this. He has a scan, looked at this army, weighs it up. Is this a fight he wants to take? And as he's moving around here, he stims on that right-hand side and he's getting a couple of zealots for free. But MC's got a lot of units here.
High Templars from the left side are maybe dropping some beautiful storms if Daishi stays there.
It's a good attack here from Daishi with his 2-2 upgrades here. Kills off a lot of those zealots, but he's just missing those crucial EMPs. The 3 ghosts are coming to join this army. And there's another 3 on the other side of the map, so there's 6 in total. Oh, this could be bad for MC. MC, you got to be so careful walking down this pathway.
Yeah, the Archons are out of position here. They're going to get EMP'd, I believe, and will be sniped down very quickly. There we go. 2 of them are dying right away. And MC, the Mothership Core is down. There's no way to retreat. You have to fight now. The Time Warp is actually preventing a little bit of damage here.
Another snipe. There's still like 3 or 4 storms, though. Good EMPs coming from the left-hand side. Kind of get onto the Immortals, but not the High Templar. But look at Daishi's fighting on the high ground. MC can't even see up there right now. He picks up the majority of his units. One stim on the leftover ones, but where's Daishi going?
What a scrappy fight there.
For High Templar.
All the feedbacks are dropping, but none of the medics are actually dead.
But the Immortals swinging around this right-hand side here. They're going to meet up with this Marauder force again. And Daishi's boosting her in. What a crazy game here, the decider, to see who gets eliminated, who stays in this group for another game.
And MC getting 8 Immortals, 9 Immortals in the mix and making it work. Look at this army.
Yeah.
It looks so scary. Where's Daishi's? Actually, Daishi lost so much. He has to evacuate his 4th base.
77 army supply to 102 for the boss toss. And we know that when the boss toss smells an opportunity, he goes for it. And this could be one. He's got to be very careful not to get EMP'd.
Where are the Widow Mines? He stopped his Widow Mine production for a long time.
Yeah,
I only see a
one.
single one with his army right now.
MC's about to complete very shortly, +3 armor as well.
And +2 attack is on the way. Daishi does have 2 upgrades, but he's not... Okay, just now he started his +3 attack.
And EMP on that front. High Templar on 3 Immortals. He scans and sees the rest of this army. Some good EMPs there. About 6 of these Immortals are without shields currently. He needs to get rid of the storms, but oh, nice storm there from the boss toss. But still, there's a lot left over from Daishi. Can he break the Immortals? He's going for it. That's a great set of the storms coming from the right-hand side here, and he gets right up close. Daishi's going for it. He's targeting down the Immortals, but is he going to have enough firepower to actually bring them down here? A close fight between them, but it looks like Daishi is just about going to have to pull back. I guess the Immortals after going down, the Archons were left to deal the damage.
All the Immortals died, and I believe that was most of the firepower. So if MC can finish this game right now,
yeah,
this is going to be hard.
More High Templar, more storms, another one lands on that army. Some SCVs coming to help defend here. And another one lands as well. The Zealots getting right up close and personal. +3 armor. It's going to be very hard to bring these down. And MC has a chance right now.
Yeah.
He's warping everything that he has. SCVs are pulled off the line. SCVs versus Archons. Oh, that's not so good.
No.
And they're going to get picked off immediately. And it looks like the boss toss with another good warping of Zealots here is going to break Daishi in a tense game here. He's broken the 3rd base, which is the economy right now for Daishi.
Yeah, he's dropping a few mules there, but the army's already there, and it looks like MC made it work. He made this army composition work. It's crushing Daishi right now. He's losing almost every single SCV.
Yeah, every single mule.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of units left now for Daishi, and he's going to pick up 2 of them, and they get spotted immediately and get picked off immediately. And that's probably the nail in the coffin, the last set of units that were trying to go for some drop get destroyed, and I'm sure Daishi is devastated right now. This could have gone his way, but it looks like it's swinging in favor of the boss toss, who looks like he's going to survive another game here. Unfortunately, Daishi facing the last couple of moments of his tournament here in Season 3. The last stim, the last defense as the boss toss goes for it. And the Bostos has a lot of units behind this as well.
Yeah, he didn't need the Immortals to dish out the damage. He has enough Blink Stalkers right now, some beautiful storms. Another scan is going out, and I believe
on the 4th.
This is going to be it, yeah.
Daishi knows he's doing that thing with his lips. GG is called, and MC does not lose in the low bracket and will fight in the decider to see if he can take a 2nd place to salvage today's group. Daishi with a valiant effort, though.
Such a crazy game. That fight on the bottom left looked so close, but obviously MC had so many gateways and I think around 1,000 minerals, so he was able to reinforce so quickly afterwards. Like, spend all Chrono Boost on gateways, just get more units.
Yeah.
And crush the Terran.
So close, but so far for Daishi. As unfortunately he's eliminated here for the 2nd time in the round of 16. A good show from him. Of course, maybe not being so much against 4GG, but that one can be written off. But a decent game there versus MC. Yeah. And there we have it, the low bracket. Unfortunately, Daishi eliminated. MC moves on. Final thoughts for that series here before we head over to MC for a couple of words?
I don't know. It was very nice to watch. And I'm surprised that he made it work on the 3rd map. Against Ghost, against 2-2 upgrades for a while. And he just crushed him.
I guess he's just lacking the oomph from extra Widow Mines, the oomph from extra Ghosts for the majority of it. Building a lot of Marine Marauders, but not building the right units.
The right units to counter the exact composition that MC had was basically Archon Immortal with a lot of charge shots and a few High Templars. It's not like he had 10 around. It was mostly like 4, maybe 5 around to drop a few storms.
All right, well, that is the result there. Let's head it over to Red Eye, who's standing by with a winter, not yet, winners interview.
Yeah, not quite winter, but with MC. I just talked to you before we came on, and I said, were you worried? And you said no. Why?
Why should I? Do you have any reason? Why am I scared?
I'm asking you why you weren't worried. I would be worried if it were me and I lost the first map, but you're the boss toss, so is that why you don't worry?
Yeah, of course. I know how to win.
You do know how to win. We know that about you, but when he wins the first game and he mana drops as well, it's like, what did you think?
In the first game, I thought he gonna base trade, but he didn't. So I lost first game, but I saw his mule, and maybe he had something mental broken because he lost 20-0 against 4GG. So it's okay. My mentor is like iron, so yeah, it doesn't matter for me.
Okay, so it didn't matter. Game 2, much better, more like the boss toss that we know. So it's 1-1. Game 3. What a crazy game. It just, were you worried at any point when he was dropping and going crazy with all the stuff, or were you always really confident you could win that game?
In the third game, I just want to show you guys, I don't need F Colossus. So it was just my way. I don't need F Colossus.
Okay, I think everyone got that. I think they know what that meant. But it's very good of you, because you've sworn before, because we've been talking about this, haven't we, about swear words, and it's getting better. I like that. So, okay, Stardust or 4GG next?
I prefer 4GG because my PBT is best in the world. So, and Stardust doesn't matter because first match, I was really nervous. I don't know why, but after lose, I try some sleep, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and now no nervous. So, yeah, first match I did many mistakes, so I lost. So, in the decide match, I can't lose because I'm not nervous.
Okay, well, it's good to hear. I want to talk to you about BlizzCon a little bit. I mean, I know it's a little way away, it's a few weeks away, but you're qualified, which is great. So, looking forward to it? Are you already practicing? Are you already planning?
I just want just other guys, it doesn't matter for me. I want to play against Jest because I think his best Protoss in 2014. So I want to beat him, and I want to play with him. So it's just my focus. Other players is little bit noobs.
There you have it. Other players, a little bit noobs. But Zest, he's pretty good, according to MC. He's going to be back a little bit later on as he faces the final game in Group D for a place in the quarterfinals. Next up, though, it's Stardust going head-to-head with 4GG for the winners of the group. And don't forget, this weekend is also a bit of a Blizzard fest. It is the road to BlizzCon as it continues, courtesy of our friends over at DreamHack, with coverage of Hearthstone and World of Warcraft.
He's trying to get out of there. Lauderver's coming in. Shadow Fury. This is going to be it. 3K. He's going to go down. Zunyaki, that could have meant the kill if they had it, but unfortunately they do not. But the Fear comes out. It doesn't matter. It's over.
Priest, I don't believe it. Wow. And that's going to do it. A boss takes the series. So crazy. 2 games to 1 to Priest.
Wow. Oh, I love Priest, man.
And a very warm welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe, round of 16, Group D. Blimey, as they say in the UK. We've had 3 matches in Group D. Time now to turn our attention to the 4th game. I'm just going to keep going on, it's great. And our 4th game is going to be the winners bracket game between Stardust and 4GG. The people in the audience heard absolutely nothing of that introduction, so I could have been saying all sorts of crazy stuff. We're also going to show you the bracket right now. If you weren't with us earlier on, you missed a cracking game between Stardust and MC. Stardust coming through against the former WCS European champion. The current one, of course, is Stardust. And he'll now take on 4GG for the first position in Group D, our 7th player through to the round of 8. Don't forget the round of 8 draw is this evening as well. It'll take place right after our final game, which will be MC versus the loser of this game. Dennis is back with me. Before we talk about this game, I just want to make a point, actually, to anyone at home that loves StarCraft 2. I know there's lots of you tuning in right now. Battle.net right now, go to battle.net right now, and they've actually put up the map pool for Season 4 right now. You can go and vote for it. Your votes are actually going to make a difference and are going to choose the 7 maps in the map pool for Season 4. Of course, no WCS, so we can have some fun with some old school maps. Dennis, there's some real old favourites in here. Steps of War. Shakura's Plateau is on there as well. Yeah, you're probably all right with that one. Telda Immorta. Yeah, Neo Planet S. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to go down too well. Zelnaga Caverns is on here. Habitation's on here. Cloud Kingdom's on here. Partner's on here.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few very interesting maps.
Great maps. Yeah,
but
some great
like,
maps.
I don't know, Metalopolis and Steps of War.
on there as well. Steps is on there.
I hope if Metalopolis makes it, and I think the community will vote for it, actually, I hope it doesn't have close position anymore.
Yes.
I hope Blizzard remembers what happened when it was close.
Yes, not good. And I think Kalaris right now is busy picking the funky maps. Let's just put it like that. I saw him doing some funky picks. So if you don't want some maps to get in because of Kalaris, make sure you head over to battle.net right now and check out the map points. So a really cool idea from Blizzard. We're really thankful that we get a chance to go and play some StarCraft 2 and some historic maps. Maps that we haven't played in Heart of the Swarm, some of those.
That's true, not at all. For a very long time, there's some very old ones. Zelnaga Caverns, as you mentioned.
2010, Zelnaga's 4 years old.
That was close, and yeah,
it was very close.
And I personally, I don't want to see Daybreak because I think it would be too stalemate for the most matchups. But I think some others could be very, very cool.
It could be a lot of fun, couldn't it? And we're definitely going to find out as we head into Season 4. Right now, we're in Season 3 of WCS, so let's focus on our 4th match. It is the winners' game, 4GG versus Stardust. Is that what you expected it to be?
Kind of, yeah. I think Stardust was the favorite against MC by a little bit in PvP. It came down to a single observer being sniped in the very last map, and then 4GG being the huge favorite against Daishi, and he was proving both maps. Yeah, exactly that. He was just kind of crushing him. I mean, the first map, maybe Daishi had some shots, but he was moving out very early on, and 4GG got the damage he was looking for and just finished it up with a one-base attack.
Do you think that 4GG will look at that matchup, that TVP game that Daishi played, and think, oh, actually, yeah, I could probably do all right in it. And Terrans have been doing all right against Protoss recently as well.
Yeah, they have a slightly different style, I would say, but definitely. We saw 4GG going over to Daishi after the games, talking to him a little bit, and I believe they definitely shared their opinions about the matchup, maybe even about the strategies, or made up something together. And yeah, why not? I mean, obviously, they both play Terran, they both played on a very high level, and you can always share information when you just played against one guy.
Yeah, so I always find it very difficult at this position in the group because the two guys who are in the winners' final have done nothing wrong so far. They've won both their games, but one loss here, and they drop down, and then another loss, and suddenly they're not in the round of 8, and yet they were one game away, if you like. So it's a real mental thing, this at this point of the group.
Yeah, especially for Stardust. If he loses, he's going to face MC for the rematch, and you could argue in PvP that you might already used your builds to win the best of 3, because PvP can be tricky and stuff. But on the other hand, I think both of these players have so many different builds. Maybe even we will see different maps, actually. I could see them vetoing a bit different maps just to have something else. And yeah. But if I have to pick one for Stardust 4GG, I would go with Stardust, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he has been the form player over the last few months in terms of WCS. as we head into the map vetoes right now. Obviously, the winner of last season, Season 2, WCS, reigning champion right now. MC said earlier on in the interview that he didn't feel like he played very well in the first game, felt that he wasn't really ready for it, he's a little bit nervous, which is unusual for him. He's not normally the most nervous of players. Now that he's not and he's a bit more relaxed, I don't think Stardust wants to drop down now and face him again. It's funny, actually, because when we've watched matches like that, Korean players especially seem to figure it out faster than maybe the foreigners do. So when they play a player again that they've lost to, they often win the second time round. It's crazy how many times we see that.
That's somewhat of a curse, actually. It happened to me personally quite often as well, that you win the first set and then you lose in the decider one if you don't take the first two matches, because then you advance anyways. So if you put every strategy in one basket in the first best of 3 and you have nothing to follow up, it's going to be extremely hard if you face the same guy again.
Digwing, King Sejong, Nimbus, Foxtrot, all pretty much as we thought, except for Catalina.
Catalina is in there. Yeah. It's a little bit interesting. Medivacs are very, very strong on that map.
Probably third map, though, do you think, here?
I mean, Stardust actually let it in, so maybe he has somewhat of a build prepared for it. Okay, but Mary goes the second one.
That's a little bit more sensible, I guess, if we need it. But we're going to start off on Overgrowth. Pretty much the de facto kind of standard map. It's the Frost of this season, if you like. It's the one that almost everyone's okay with. Terrans are all right with it, except for Daishi, it seems. And Protoss and Zerg are okay with it as well. So it's a good map.
Yeah, it's a good map.
Okay.
I'd say it's slight favorite for 4GG, the second and third map.
Yeah.
But not by much. And Stardust for sure has some builds, even on the maps that are not that good for Protoss by standard or by default. And I mean, we will find out. We
spoke a little bit earlier on today about Stardust has matured a lot over the last 12 months in the way that he plays the game and the way his builds have kind of, come on. And 12 months ago, we were always talking and teasing him a little bit, actually, about how much cheese he used. And he did use a lot, and that's how he found that he won matches. So I guess that's okay, but in the last 12 months, he's really added an awful lot of different types and different styles to his game. But do you think maybe against a Terran like 4GG, maybe the cheesy style is actually going to suit him better?
I mean, why not? Why not throw it in there? Definitely, I think on Overgrowth, we will see more of a macro game by him. Maybe some Warp Rhythm with High Templars in there. Something similar we saw from MC on the third map. Maybe not in Archon, but for Storm Drops. I know that Stardust loves to do that. And the second and third map definitely could be something like Blink All In or Proxy Oracle, for example.
He's got to find a way of countering 4GG's aggressiveness, because we know how good he is at that. And he's going to try and frustrate. He's going to go in early. He's going to be aggressive early as he possibly can, and try and rattle Stardust into making mistakes like he did with Daishi, which it showed very clearly in those two maps.
Yes, 4GG is extremely strong with the first 2 and the first 4 Medivacs, I would say. In these small skirmishes where the Protoss doesn't have too much units yet, and you can micro very well with Stimpack Medivacs, that's where 4GG is extremely strong, and you need to be careful as a Protoss that you don't take too much damage, because once he's ahead, he's not going to give it away anymore.
Absolutely. Who'd you go with for this game?
I go with Stardust. 2-1, though.
Okay, so you think it's going to be close? Got to agree, can't disagree with our Protoss star here at the table. Man who has been with Now Sports for more than 10 years, as we were talking about yesterday. It's such an achievement. And these two right now are fighting it out for the first position in the round of 16 Group D. Who goes through as the 7th man? Let's find out with your commentary team, Kalaris and Apollo.
That's right, Red Eye. The round of 8 currently consists of 4 Terrans, 1 Protoss, and 1 Zerg. Will we have another Terran there to join them, or will Stardust add to the ranks of the Protoss? Something tells me Stardust might have an edge here. I think he's looking good today, and I think he's still doing pretty well against Terrans.
Stardust is looking good. There's two sides to look at it as well. He's just returned back from Korea, but he wasn't practicing there like he was when he did so well in the previous season.
Yeah.
In the previous season, he was playing at the CJ house. He came back, and he was just nailing it. This time, he went to Korea more so for a vacation, but still played StarCraft on the Korean server and had some obviously very good games and a good learning experience. So whether you're an optimistic guy or not, you can choose whatever you want there. But I have to favor Stardust no matter what here against 4GG.
Yeah.
Stardust so unpredictable, is capable of anything. 4GG is going to have to enter this series and play solid, make no mistakes, and just identify what he's playing against. And I think that may be a little bit too difficult against a player like Stardust.
Yeah, 4GG, as you said, It's going to be difficult, I have to agree. Here is Stardust, a guy that across every single matchup in the WCS so far has got a stellar win ratio. Absolutely stellar. And our first map is going to be Overgrowth between these two, as the countdown has already begun. So one of these two is going to be moving on to the round of 8. It would be actually mind-boggling if we had another Terran and then we ended up with so many Terrans in the round of 8. But at the same time, going through Stardust is a tall order. He is our current reigning champion here at WCS Europe. He's looking for at least a round of 8 finish, at least top 4. He wants to go all the way. And standing in his way so far is this man down to the bottom left-hand corner. It's our red Terran representing Team Millennium. It is 4GG. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss looking to move on. Once again, representing My Insanity, it is Stardust.
I think a lot of people are forgetting here that hasn't been talked about. You know, with Stardust and 4GG meeting each other in the semi-finals last season.
True.
We saw a 3-1 in favor of Stardust. To be honest, that was the season where I was all on 4GG. Just he was nailing it. He was playing so well. He was doing excellently. He was just executing all he needed to do at the right times, all the time. But still got bested by Stardust. 3-1, and Stardust went to the finals, then won the whole thing. And he really stopped 4GG from what I thought could have been his season. They meet again here, and you know, I took the time out this afternoon to have a quick look at the previous series and what kind of happened between the both of them. I know it doesn't kind of impact the strategies we'll see today, but it definitely shows the styles of both players. The first game, Stardust just did a huge 2-2 timing, double Forge Colossus style that ended up winning the game. 4GG played normal, moved out, lost units, died to a counter, as simple as that. Game 2, there was a weird habitation station goal-based strategy that was used, as they always were used all that time. And, you know, again, Stardust won that game. Game 3, Proxy Gateway. Game 4, Proxy Stargate. You know, wins and losses across the board, but it just shows the diversity that Stardust has here. 4GG going incredibly greedy with his opening here. Command Center and Engineering Bay. Against Stardust here, who has not scouted and has not got a Zealot in the production as of yet. And if he doesn't build that, which he doesn't look like he's going to, okay, he does start it, he's going to fall behind. It's a fully complete Engineering Bay. This is a very good start here for 4GG.
Very good start. Just straight going there, not even checking what's going on in his opponent's main base. Doesn't really care too much. That probe comes down and is a sad probe, to say the least, as he does find this. But whilst all of this is going on, it's also important for 4GG to do well in this group. He is sat on the bubble, really, on the verge. He's very, very highly ranked. A top 2 position is so important for him here during this tournament to keep his BlizzCon chances alive. Anything lower than a top 2 makes it very, very difficult for him ever to get far.
Top 2 right now would sit him at 19th in the ranking. And then he would have to
do well at DreamHack.
Get a top 2, if not win DreamHack as well. So it is definitely a chance, but a hard one.
A very difficult one, very difficult indeed. But anyway, so he's got the caliber, he could do it, but there's still a lot stood in his way. Stardust is one of those players, the reigning champion, and he's not going to be doing anything in half measures. He's going to be pulling tons of punches here against 4GG, I suspect.
And 4GG looking to the top left here in case there's a proxy structure or something. Because he's delayed the Nexus by so much, he's actually very far ahead in this game, despite the supply saying something different. As long as that bunker's complete down the bottom here, he's going to be able to just defend against this, obviously push out and just further his lead. Nexus is very, very much so delayed. He's just 25 seconds in out of 100 structure.
Poking around, having a little bit of a look. Sees that the command center is completely done, and is going to be a little bit sad about that, as he now fully understands exactly what he's going to be playing against, really. Aside from what's going on in the main base, at least he knows it is that command center first.
Robotics facility anyway here for Stardust, not wanting to try an Oracle to try to capitalize on the SCVs. If he didn't make it work, he'd fall further behind than he would do if he did get some, obviously. So he's just going to play Robotics Facility, and Forge pretty fast in with this as well.
And all in all, I mean, 4GG is playing a style where he's, with the 3 barracks, I should say, he's going to have a lot of units out pretty darn fast. So the Robo is very, very important to eventually transition onto like a normal position of having Colossi out, just in case like that bio push would come.
Yeah, especially because he's not getting a second add-on on the second barracks either. He's just 1 barracks, 1 add-on, and then going to start pumping out Marines from all 3, or all 2, sorry. And then, what do you imagine from the... No, all Marines, actually, so Stim straight away.
Oh, wow.
So if he's going to go full Marine here, he does have a chance to move out with a handful of Marines to try to force the overcharge. Maybe move in again when Stim is done.
A little backflip from that SCV as it dies. But
4GG just doesn't know what's going on. He knows he's ahead, and usually a Protoss will try to capitalize in some form. But he's got Marines inside his main base. He's got a second bunker. He's still trying to figure out if Stardust is going to try something here, but we know that Stardust isn't. So 4GG, he's got to be very careful here not to lose his lead because he's playing overly defensive.
Yeah, he's just playing it straight. If he's actually putting any Chrono Boost into that Forge, he could get that out pretty fast and then go on to the +1 as well and hit quite a nice timing along with those. But since the Robo Bay is going down behind all of this as well, he wasn't really cutting too many corners.
Yeah, 4GG are reluctant to scan it all. All about the money, as anyone is.
Money. Yeah. So Twilight Council on the way behind all of this as well. And 4GG just making sure that the starport is a good time, because of course you always have to be wary of if somebody's going to do something like this. And he'll really want the information soon enough. Robo Bay down at this particular time. Colossus being his Chrono Boost out as fast as possible here.
Now Stardust going to look inside his opponent's main base for the first time properly here in this game, and sees the barracks, sees the Marine count. He's going to have a look for that factory. Whereabouts is it in this game? And he sees the reactor, so he'll probably take a quick move up to the left and see that too. And also sees the 3rd command center, so knows that it's not the 4th and 5th barracks. And can identify that he's in a pretty decent spot here, to be honest. He's going to be able to defend against the push out very shortly, as he has Blink and his Colossus out. And then he will slowly start to take his 3rd momentarily. And from that position, just be kind of comfortable.
Yep, 3 extra gateways being planted down here too for Stardust. Oh, 4 extra gateways. So quite the burst there as +1 and Blink come along as well. He's actually got quite a good tool set available to him here, does Stardust, with all of this lining up.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, Blink, and then a decent unit count here. If 4GG makes any mistakes when he moves out here, he loses anything. But obviously, a blink in the blink into the main base to stop the medivacs, where the 4GG loses the medivacs in the attack, could lead to a counterattack because there are 7 gateways here as well. But this should be a 3rd base coming out from Stardust. It's a very standard setup for him. And it's all going to come down to, since the way that this is played out, 4GG obviously in the supply lead because of the way this game played out in the early stages. Can he further his lead now the medivacs are in play?
He made it look like he was going for an expansion, but the probe moved towards an aggressive pylon spot. And as I was saying before, the tool set that's available here, he has opportunity, because if he's covering his Colossi with Blink Stalkers on a push forwards, I mean, 4GG is already kind of identified. A second starport is already being added on for him.
Well, 4GG finds the probe and pylon on the left-hand side, and that is obviously a little bit weird here. So 4GG is going to be on alert. A quick look up here. Remember, Blink is going to be available in 10 seconds here. Luckily, it backs off, and I think 4GG is starting to get a little bit worried what's going on here, but he already has 2 bunkers, didn't salvage them. A second starport's finishing up now. And if this doesn't work for Stardust, he's going to be in trouble. He catches one of the medivacs, though. Now Blink is done.
Oh, yeah, that's a very nice start for him. As during all of that, it's, well, 3 medivacs now, but Viking production needs to start.
A Marine spotted no 3rd. A Marine spotted no 3rd. He's double-checking again.
Yeah, checking it. Finds it, and
just got to defend. I think 4GG is going to defend this.
Interestingly enough, Pro Production as well as Templar Archives have started behind all of this as well. So I guess it's a poke and a prod. See if he can do much, but with all of that happening behind here, I guess he just falls back and makes it look like he was going for something.
There's so many units here. Bunkers and SCVs and now double starport Vikings.
It's so strange. He's going to kill off the factory. Great stuff, but all that's really doing is scanning. Oh, nice repair.
Yeah, 4GG
He's just going to go home.
Good here, and the Nexus is going to try to get planted. Marine denies it, so 4GG knows the intentions of drifted away from the attack, which means we'll see the salvage of the bunkers very, very shortly. And a big opportunity to push out soon. Storm is massive. Massive upgrade in this game. He needs to get it out, because until he gets that upgrade in and High Tempo around, he is pretty weak, man. The Viking count's going to be at 9 to 3 Colossus. He needs to not build another gas unit. Storm must be the next. It must be the next 200 gas.
Absolutely, and there we go.
He has to work on that immediately now.
So far, he only has the 3 Colossus to hold on against this. A lot of Zealots are in there, and Charge will be on the way pretty soon, but 4GG's army is gathering quite a lot of momentum. 92 army supply against 78. Warp Prism being added in as well here for Stardust to try and buy him some time whilst he gets himself set up at that third.
Yeah, buy him some time, or maybe put the High Templar in it and try to make some magic work now, because the way that this has played out is not worked in his favor for sure. 4GG had a great opener. He spotted what was going on. He already had a huge army. Storm will complete by the time this happens, but there are 3 High Templar. Limited Storms. If they are dodged well, 4GG is going to look good here.
There's so many Vikings, so many. He's already up to 9. He's adding on 4 more, and they've come out at such a rapid pace that the Colossus count just hasn't been able to keep up. Of course, he didn't go any further than 3, but he's actually going to take the straight engagement before Charge had finished, so that was a nice opportunity there for 4GG to do some damage. Charge is now done, though, so he's got to be very careful.
Backs out. Nice movement out there.
Yeah.
Force field kind of helps 4GG a little bit.
Yeah, working against those Zealots.
Oh, Storm on the edge. Not really that many deaths, a couple, but not a lot. Warp Prism 4 Zealots actually going to go to the main base here.
And now there's just going to be High Templar littering every single angle. As that third base gets set up, as he adds on his gases there as well. He needs to. Yeah, you're right.
And moves forward here. Only 3 medivacs in this. There's so many Vikings, 14. 3 more being added on, but this... is the Warp Prism going to last long? Vikings are... No, the medivacs aren't they? Never mind. They will last.
Yes, it will. Yeah, that would have been very handy if it had popped out and been Vikings, but alas, that's not the case. Gets himself a few workers, which is a nice start, as some of them even have to come to the aid against that and do a bit of fighting. But the Vikings should be able to hunt down that
4GG's pulling his entire army to defend this. Stardust realizing just moves down.
Yeah, that's maybe not the best choice, because doing some damage here and crippling this third base will help out a lot. Also, the Warp Prison got out during all of this. The Vikings had to turn around and try and deal with the main force. And they're naked. They don't have any bio with them, so they were a little bit vulnerable. So that was a good blink forward to try and take the initiative.
Now, a lot of High Templar here.
And actually, that storm hit the entirety of that split force to try and catch the High Templars. He does have a lot of storms. He's got to be so careful about how he engages this.
The Vikings.
They found a good angle. Going to start working at one of those Colossi. And
if 4GG catches this army,
another good storm. Still needs to land even more. That second storm on those Vikings did massive damage. Another storm is really, really going to hurt these Vikings. Coupling forwards, and, well, as all the Vikings die, there's only 1 Colossus left. Can it do enough damage to really hold on against this? There's really not that many storms left over here, and 4GG has actually microed out of these storms into a position where there's not really that much gateway force to deal with it. Meanwhile, we have some harassment at the back as well, and he can just stim around and kill off the last Colossus.
Yeah, he's going to pick up this army. I'm not sure he'd pick up the game, though. He's got to deal with these Zealots, and that'll buy enough time here for a couple more High Templar and so on to get warped in here for Stardust. There is quite a bit of bio left over for sure.
And Stardust understands that every single gateway of his is being Chrono Boost behind this. He wants the reinforcements. He wants to finish this as quickly as possible, knowing the advantage he's seized.
And I wonder if he'll even try High Templar here. It might be just better to build an army more so than try to get storms down.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So the Warp Prism's going to buy him even more time here. There's a Storm drop on the natural with a couple of Zealots as well.
And 4GG is just reeling at this point, just reeling. He's already lost 37 workers during all of this, plus 2 weapon starts up as well. And he can even go for Storm drops on just a few SCVs. Any kill here is really nice for him on the mineral lines.
And the Medivac's low in energy, low bio force here. It's just very, very weak. And as you can see, 8 Zealots being warped in, Immortals being added on. By the time 4GG actually clears this up, which he looks to do shortly, by the time he moves over the other side of the map, which he has to do, being at 17 SCVs, he can't play it long. He has to go for a fight. Stardust is ready.
Yeah, he's just building up back at home, getting ready and good to go for the next fight. And I'm not really sure how 4GG is going to win this out. His Bioforce is just too low in health, as you were mentioning before.
Yes, this is going to be an easy pickup here for Stardust. I think he's got a couple of storms with this army as it is. And there is just so little here for 4GG. And once again, Stardust seems to be getting the better end of him. He's just taking better fights, better army moves, and better storms consistently.
Great set of storms there. Catches the bio as they're moving right into that area. And Stardust now just swaps in extra units. GG. Game number 1 goes to Stardust after, well, giving us a little bit of a masterclass, showing us that it's pretty simple once he gets into those positions, and he drew his opponent out of some nice spots as well.
Yeah, it's just, I have to say that was rather easy for Stardust. I think that 4GG got a great start in this game. Stardust planned an attack that didn't do anything there, that's, you know, pushed 4GG into a better position. But despite that, Stardust knew what to do. Well, it was very cool under the crisis that he had to deal with, got the storm out, took good fights, warped in a lot of high tempo, defended, and then just was able to warp Prism around, and 4GG crumbled. 4GG's army control was not the best there. He lost a lot to just simple mistakes of his own. Stardust just looked great.
Yeah, and in the end, it's a scary thing to deal with and identify from the Terran perspective, to say, are you really committing to this? Aren't you? What are you doing behind all of this? Because right now I'm just geared up for the defense, and all my eggs are planted in the basket of the don't die basket. Because other than that, Stardust just wasn't committing. He didn't care. He said, well, okay, you're sitting back at home. I guess I'm just going to go back and continue on.
Yeah, it was just a very good game from Stardust. It's looking great today. A great series versus MC earlier, and of course now looking good again versus 4GG. No, never mind, I didn't write the maps. I'm not sure which next map is down here, but 4GG, is he going to face elimination again? Of course, he's a semi-finalist from last season, but despite the 2 semi-finals he's achieved in WCS, is, you know, tough to say, not quite achieved what he wanted to when it comes to results. He's obviously been wanting more than just 2 semi-finals over 2 years worth of WCS. He's been eliminated in the round of 32 quite a lot. He's been eliminated here quite a bit. And the thing is with 4GG, he's never had all 3 matchups at the same level. His Terran versus Terran has always been his best, and then it's kind of been, you know, a tackle between his Terran versus Zerg being the worst, or his Terran versus Protoss being the worst. But last season was, of course, his greatest. If he manages to turn this around versus Stardust, I would not be afraid to say that he's a favorite for the tournament if he can beat Stardust here and move through in first place.
That's a good point. And overall, I mean, you got to consider, you know, 4GG had a great start too today, showing us why he is a TVT monster oftentimes. But now is his real task. All of these 2 Protoss are his real task, because they both hold such good records against Terrans. So 4GG going up against Stardust, and then if he doesn't win this one, MC, it might be a tough road.
Yeah, I think